Go ahead, Nick.
You're muted.
This guy. So
here we go. Good evening, everybody. Already started. Welcome to another great Let's Talk Sports show. It's our NBA draft special. I'm trying to get my head fitting right in this camera here. As we're all dressed up in our fancy suits. There we go. I feel like that's a little bit better. As they are first ever NBA draft special right here on the Let's Talk Sports Network, the Let's Talk Sports Show. I'm joined by all the fellas as always. Scott, Cobe is joining us as always. Johnny Cruz, Mr. First Time joining us, and super producer who it was the idea for us to dress nicely. And you see how I came out dressed to impress while everybody else has kind of let us down. And Tanner D, Mr. First Down will be joining us later. And we'll have plenty of guests coming out. We're going to be covering the whole NBA draft tonight. The Spurs are on the clock. I feel like we know who they're going to draft. But
Scoot Henderson.
Be Scoot.
Let's go.
But before we talk about the draft, we got to talk about all these damn trades that have been happening before we even get into the draft. Scott, let's start with you. The Celtics make the big move. They trade for Kristaps Porzingis. Out is Marcus Smart to Memphis. What's your thoughts?
Oh, Rec Group Sports. It's great.
They'll be joining us here shortly as well.
I was surprised last night because it went, the first trade with Brogdon, and it got broken off because they were afraid of Brogdon's injury, the Clippers. So that as soon as that happened, I was like, oh, looks like, Porzingis isn't coming here. And then I find out around midnight that Smart's been traded to Memphis. I think it's a good move for the Celtics. I think they needed to revamp their team a little bit. I'm surprised Marcus Smart was the guy that was the quote-unquote sacrificial lamb. But I think Porzingis will bring an added dimension inside, outside to the Celtics.
That's perfect, bro. That's perfect.
Yeah, I hear throwing shots, dude.
What I think is happening is that they're afraid that Robert Williams is going to walk at the end of the year. So at the end of next season. So I think they wanted to retool, revamp, and I think Jaylen Brown's going to get off at that Supermax deal, $295. So.
It's a lot of money.
I think it was time. Sorry.
Yeah,
I think it was time for them to do something.
Yeah,
I like Marcus Smart and everything, but I think they need a true point guard to kind of control. Be more of a floor general for them to kind of help. Let tell Tatum and Brown basically where to go, control the offense so that they can just kind of just do what they do or whatever. Marcus Smart wasn't that type of point guard, so I think they need that type of a player. Porzingis could be a stretch four, basically that's what he is, or five, whatever. So it'll kind of open up the floor for these guys as well. He can shoot from the outside. There's some games where he'll be able to post up. He still got Robert Williams to help with the defensive side of the ball. Yeah. So I actually like the move. Again, they're gonna have to find themselves a good facilitating point guard to run their offense, and I think they'll be straight. But I like the move overall. And if Porzingis can stay healthy, of course, too.
And I think the one aspect that everybody forgets is they now have the number 25 draft pick in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be where they get their point guard at number 25.
And that's with Brogdon. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, so it's a lot of money, first of all, to get for Porzingis.
Yeah.
And then it's, because now they've got Porzingis money, they're paying Tatum and Brown as well. I actually like this trade a little bit better than I liked getting rid of Brogdon because I felt like they needed Brogdon for the point guard. But to trade Marcus Smart, I do think they're going to miss him. They're going to miss that grit. They're going to miss that defense for Smart. From Smart, and he goes to Memphis. He fits their culture exactly. He can kind of mentor Ja. He'll be a step above Dylan Brooks by miles. I mean, they can get a guy that's a 3-and-D guy that kind of replace Smart, but I just felt like Smart was kind of that passionate guy that I like on teams. He was an excellent role player, getting paid a little bit more than role player money. But
he's going to already pass his end anyways for Boston. He's done all he could for Boston.
Right.
Yeah.
The first pick it's official, people. Victor Wembanyama is a San Antonio Spur. I mentioned to you guys earlier, I wanted to talk about, this is where the draft starts, in my opinion, pick 2. It's Charlotte. Do they trade the pick? If they do make the pick, everybody's saying it's either Miller or it's Scoot Henderson.
So
if it's me, I'm going Miller because he's the better shooter, and I think that's what Charlotte needs. You team him up with Ball and with Bridges.
Miller's got some.
I know he's got some off the court.
Well, not even that. Now I'm just questioning his mental capacities. This guy's saying Paul George is the GOAT. Michael Jordan
is an ordinary guy.
Hey, you just want him to shoot the ball, bro. He can shoot the ball. He's long. He's you know what I'm saying? He can make his own shot. He can get to the basket. But I think he's perfect to, like I said, to go with Ball and with Bridges. Bridges is that crazy ass athlete that can just go to the rim whenever. He's getting better at his shooting. Miller is a good long, you know what I'm saying, wing player that can shoot the rock. I think that's what they need in Charlotte. I think they should go Miller. If you take Henderson,
they need a lot of Charlotte.
No, I know, but I'm just saying out of these two, because I mean Henderson's one of those more athletic, go to, you know what I'm saying, scoring point guards. You don't really need that with Ball there. I mean, of course, you need Ball to stay healthy, first of all. But I think I would go with the shooter. So I would go with Miller here.
So here's how you know it could be Brandon Miller. Okay, and this is 2 of my bets that I put in today. Brandon Miller this afternoon at 2:00 was plus money. He is now minus 400.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a telltale sign that Brandon Miller will be the pick. And like Johnny said, they already have a point guard in Ball. So why do they need Scoot Henderson unless they're going to move him to the 2 guard, which I don't think they would do that. So
from all reports, Scoot can't shoot very well. Miller's a shooter, so he sets up Ball. Tanner, I want to get your thoughts before we bring in our first guest. What was your thoughts on the trade on the Smart trade in Porzingis?
I thought it was fair, and Porzingis actually found a team he wanted to play for with the Wizards, but it didn't work out apparently for the Wizards. They wanted something else, so obviously we saw later today on that. And then Smart, like I said, it was his time to go.
Yeah, the next big trade today, and we'll bring our guest in after we'll bring him and talk about it a little bit too, is the Chris Paul to the Warriors trade, and they trade Jordan Poole all the way out to to the Wizards. I was surprised on this trade. And I don't like this trade for the Warriors at all. I think they needed Jordan Poole to keep younger. I understand it. Hey, Jordan Poole or Draymond got to go. They're hitching their wagon to the older veteran guy. But in the game of young scorers, give me Jordan Poole. Scott, I see you shaking your head. What's your thoughts there on that trade?
I do not like it for Golden State at all. I just think that Jordan Poole is a young, talented player, and in the NBA right now, I think you got to go younger and more talented and more athletic. I think that's the way you're going to win in the NBA going forward here in the immediate future. Chris Paul could be 1 year and done. His cap is 20 minutes, I think, for a game. So Jordan Poole can carry you on some nights shooting the basketball and hitting threes. Right. So Washington got a steal with getting Jordan Poole from the Golden State Warriors. So
and you don't even know if Chris Paul is going to stay healthy.
That's right.
The whole season. One thing about this draft, I will say, it's definitely a guard heavy draft, especially in the lottery. Besides Victor, I mean, there's the Derek Lively kid from Duke who's a 7-footer, but it's mostly guards and wing players. So I think there's a lot of athleticism out there. Like I said, I would go with more shooting. That's why if I was number 2, like I said, I would take the shooter. But there's plenty of talent, so a lot of teams are going to get some good players, but there's going to be some good players taken in the 20s too.
Speaking of talent, let's go ahead and bring our guest in, friend of the program, host of Rob Logan and Logan Sports, talking basketball. You can catch his show right here on the Let's Talk Sports Network. Give it up for none other than Mr. Rob Logan, baby.
Rob. What up,
Rob?
What's going on, Rob?
There he is.
There he is. Also, we got Sam. Go ahead and bring Sam. Yeah, there we go. Tanner's clicking the buttons. We'll get there.
Oh, you guys are really behind me.
There we go. Hey, Rob, how's it going, my friend?
Rob?
I don't think he can hear us, bro.
Rob,
what's going on, guys?
There you
very
go.
exciting tonight, man. This is one of the best nights in my household. We share it with my cousin, with my son.
Who's going number 2, Rob? Who's Charlotte taking?
It should be Scoot.
You think
think
him
it's
over
Scoot?
Miller, even though they have Ball there?
I think you go with the best player, and Scoot is the second best player in this draft.
I'm leaning towards the shooter. Miller's the better shooter. You already have a point guard with Ball. I think you pair him with Ball and Bridges. I think that's a good little trio that they would have right there. You need shooting. Charlotte needs a lot.
Well, there you
but
go.
I think they need some shooting.
There you go, Brandon Miller.
Brandon Miller, good call, Johnny.
Yeah,
Brandon Miller.
I try.
Stud out of Alabama. Rob, what do you make before I want to get your thoughts on these 2 trades? But what do you make of Brandon Miller? First, the off-court stuff that we had to deal with in Alabama, and now he's out here saying some dumb stuff in front of cameras. Michael Jordan's a bum, saw him miss an air throw, and Paul George is somehow the greatest of all time. So those are 2 I'm not drafting you just because you're an idiot type performances if I'm a GM. Or was he trying to talk his way out of Charlotte?
True.
All possible.
Yeah, because that's probably.
Hey, I'm bringing in Keith Hazel, by the way. TGI Sports.
Hey, we're bringing in Keith. Keith is Scott's roommate at the Dansbury Nursing
Yeah,
Home.
he's down the hallway right now.
Thanks for joining us.
Listen, I got a problem being the lowest paid guy on this show. I'm a little upset about that.
Well,
You get paid?
Keith, you see my what the paychecks do here. You know what I'm saying? This is top of the line.
You can afford
Keith,
sleeves,
what do you
though.
think, Keith and Rob? What do you think about Nick's suit and tie here? We love it.
Where's the sleeves? You couldn't afford sleeves? I mean,
Nah. You know, hey,
haven't
sun's
paid
out,
him
guns
enough
out,
yet.
baby. Sun's out, guns out.
I thought I came onto the WWE wrestling.
Yeah, I thought he was Mankind there for a second.
Hey, let me get your thoughts, Rob, and then it's Keith. The first 2 big trades that happened already, and then so far in this draft, what's your guys' thought process?
I was a little surprised. The Wizards have been very busy and making and moving guys around the league. I'm not sure what the Warriors are thinking, bringing in Chris Paul, who's obviously done in my mind, or on the way, to near the end of his career. I think it's a strange move for the Warriors because I like Poole a lot, and I think Porzingis has got something to still offer as well. So that'll be interesting to see what he does he went to the Celtics, right?
Yeah.
Right. Want to make sure I got this right. And on a trade that didn't get made yet, I don't know why the Knicks are considering trading Barrett for George. I don't understand that trade at all. He's 22 years old for a 33-year-old guy.
Yeah,
is the same player. He's the same player. So, and the first 2, I'm not surprised at the draft so far. I liked Miller in that second spot. Interesting that 3 of the top 4 likely picks will not have even played any college basketball either, by the way.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. What was your thoughts then? So you don't. I was with you. I don't like the Paul trade at all. For the Warriors, I like the Wizards. They're just shedding cap space and just going. They're going to be one of the worst teams in the league. They might run us 5 out there and Tanner off the bench. I guess there's 6 of us on the screen, so 7 of us out there. Next year because they just want to absolutely stink.
Well, they're going to do a good job of it. They're well on their way to maybe less than 10 wins. Let's see.
Oh, my.
Oh, man. It's rough here.
Jordan Poole's going to average 35 points a game, and they're going to win 8 games.
Yeah,
there you go. Right. Yeah. That's excellent.
Yeah.
It's going to be just what they've had for the last, 10, 15, 20 years.
Right.
You had Beal, you had Arenas, and now you're going to have Jordan Poole one guy scoring all your points every time. That's all it is.
That's right.
And John Wall, I guess, was at one point when and those guys were out. So
for those couple years that he was healthy enough to get that max deal from Washington. That's crazy what they gave him.
Yeah, and you guys are both. So you guys are both in the Northeast area. There's the talks about what's his name? Topo Nix, the young guy. They're trying to move.
Yeah, Toppin.
Thank you. Toppin.
So they're trying to move him out, or supposedly because he's gonna be upset about his playing time that he's not gonna get. What's Rob? I guess we'll hear from you first. Yeah. What do you think about that trade, and what are we looking at?
The Knicks are an up-and-coming team. I don't know why, at this point in time, after a couple of years of losing, they're starting to turn the corner. They went out, got Brunson. They're going to re-sign Hart. I don't know why you would want to leave. I understand, you have your ego in check. Sometimes you need to do that in order to win championships. And at Toppin, if he wants to go, that's a bad move because the Knicks are an up-and-coming team, and I wouldn't want to be traded away from a team like that.
No, I agree. He's got a lot of talent. He doesn't play much defense, but he gives them a lot of offense off the bench and
gives them a joy.
But you can't be getting in the coach's face at halftime during the playoffs, and when you haven't really done enough to earn the right to get in the coach's face at halftime. Sorry, Obi, you just haven't.
Let me ask. Oh, go ahead, Keith. Let me ask you guys this: what if you're Portland? What do you do here? Do you take Scoot? Do you try?
Oh, you got to go Scoot.
The reports are Pelicans are hot up for Scoot. They'll trade Zion. Do you take that deal if you're Portland? Do you trade Dame here? Like, it's been taking a little while here on the clock. They have a lot of options. They have a franchise cornerstone player.
Dame's officially off the board. So
I think
Scoot Henderson, everybody. Scoot Henderson.
I'm not surprised at that. I think Lillard's gone.
Is Dame traded? Is that what you're saying, Keith?
Dame is off the table. He's off the table.
He's off the table.
They're going to run a backcourt of Scoot and Dame.
Personally, it depends on whether he wants to stay or not. If he doesn't want to stay, they'll trade him. But
he came out. Go ahead, Keith.
I don't know that they're going to have as many options. You got to remember too. He's a great player, but he's on the north side of 32, so 30, which is not old, I guess, compared to me and Scott. But in the NBA, so I don't know that they're not going to get I don't think uber superstar type return for him if that's what they think. But Portland's another team that just can't get it together up there. They've had a lot of good players and they can't get it together.
But you got to remember too, like Dame isn't playing these back-to-back long played out seasons, right? They're not going to the finals or anything like that. So he's saved his body essentially. Saved himself from 24, 30, something around that games each year, essentially. So the guy, sure, he's on his wrong side of 30, but he's also not one that has played in the finals consecutive years like a LeBron James or anything like that. So or Steph Curry, right?
That might be a strike against him too, though, Tanner. I mean, because he's not helping in the playoffs.
Yeah. Rob, you had something?
Yeah, just about that Miller pick real quick. When the last time a team that I remember picked because of the need and not really the best player was back when Portland passed
Bowie for Jordan. Come on,
because he didn't have the right fit.
That's quite a comparison there, man.
I was listening to a podcast and
I hear you.
You're right though, Scott, because here's the thing is I was listening to Scott's brother Lombardi on his podcast and he was saying sometimes you got to go for the best player. Like, if the Portland would have took Michael Jordan in that draft, then they could have traded Clyde Drexler and got picks or something and assets for him. Instead, they took the best fit instead of actually building the best team or team. And sometimes you got to go for the best player.
I mean, I get that, but you're talking about a shooting guard and a center compared to a point guard and a wing guy in Miller. So I mean, that's a little closer than Jordan and Sam Bowie.
In today's,
because this kid is going to play, a wing position. He's a better shooter than Scoot. Like I said, Scoot is probably the better player right now, but I mean, I think Miller has just, has a pretty high ceiling for going forward. So, I mean, I don't see it quite that way as far as taking a need. I just think it's a better fit. He's got plenty of upside to be able to get to where Scoot Henderson is. I mean, it's like I said.
In today's game, doesn't matter what position you play. We play in a positionless basketball. So why not take the best player available that there is? I mean, I've heard both have ups and downs. This, to me, at the fourth pick is where it gets wild to me, because after that's a crapshoot. We talked about it on Monday's show. Really, after the first three picks, it doesn't really matter after that, because it's all a crapshoot. Rob, is there somebody that you like a little bit more here at 4?
Well, originally I had said, and I would place a bet on Cam Whitmore going here at 4, because he had a really good couple of showings and a couple of camps that he was out in California. However, there's a report going around that he had an issue with a medical evaluation or something at one of the combines, and his stock is kind of dropping a little bit now. So I think you might go with one of the Thompson twins here, and you might go with one of those two guys. Probably Amen first, but that's what it's looking like right now.
That's kind of
so Rob, let me ask you. We get in the middle of the draft. You have Jordan Hawkins from UConn. Talk about him and where you think he could fall into.
Who was that to?
That was Rob. Rob, he was asking you.
That was to Rob.
I if anything, I think he's going to be more mid. He's going to be later. I personally think he's somebody that would have maybe have benefited coming back another year at UConn. So, I think he's riding that wave of a championship to try to get him as best of a pick as he can. But I can't see him going any earlier than 20 or, 20 something for him getting picked, because he had a good run, but I still think that his game could have improved a little bit more playing the college game right now.
Keith, what do you think?
I missed the name. I'm sorry. I heard UConn.
Jordan Hawkins from UConn.
Yeah.
What do you think about him?
Yeah, I thought that's what you said. Personally, I think Andre Jackson Jr. is going to go before he goes from UConn. And that's no bias. He's from where I grew up, Amsterdam, New York. I live just a little ways from there now. And he had a great year. He was really the guy who made that UConn team go. He does a little bit of everything. His numbers don't blow you away, but he does everything on the court. And he's another guy riding a wave. He might have been better off coming back too, as Rob said about Hawkins. But I think he might go before him. And I look for the Celtics to maybe jump on Andre Jackson. Hawkins, I don't have a great feel for. A question I have tonight: are there going to be any seniors picked in any of the rounds?
That's true. That's so true.
A lot of what I
the
see
second round, maybe
mix of freshmen or junior guys or whatever. So
I mean They said this might be the first 5 picks. I guess we'll have Miller that's gone. He went to college, but most of them aren't even going to have went to college.
Right.
Rob, let me ask you this as a 76ers fans. What do the 76ers got to do to get over the hump? They got rid of Doc Rivers. They got rid of, they're bringing in Nick Nurse. They're trying to find a guy to kind of fill in with Embiid. I was listening to a podcast, and they were pretty much Doc was not a big fan of Embiid, as far as like he needs somebody to get him motivated. He doesn't have that alpha dog in him. He doesn't have that dog in him. That's why when they had Jimmy got the best out of Embiid because he could play it. But if he's your sole leader, you're going to be in trouble. Who would you like? Whether it be a trade tonight or a draft pick tonight, who would you like to see the 76ers get? And what can they get to get over the hump? Because right now they're behind the Celtics and the Bucks and those teams.
Yeah, I mean, really, the only trade piece they have as far as availability goes is Tobias Harris. And to me, Tobias Harris isn't going to catch or get.
Amen. Amen Thompson is number 4 to Houston.
I mean, Tobias is not going to get you back a player that's really going to, skyrocket you to a championship. But I think that's the only piece that they have available to trade away. Harden's coming back. We'll see how he does underneath Nick Nurse. Hopefully, Nick Nurse, as a coach, could be that motivating factor because, like you said, Nick, Embiid is a quiet guy in the locker room. They said Tyrese Maxey is actually more vocal in the locker room than Embiid. So Embiid is he's a quiet guy by nature. So yes, somebody's going to have to get him motivated. As far as what is out there, obviously I think they need some more shooting to go around Embiid to help maybe space the floor a bit more. Tobias Harris, I saw maybe going to the Pacers as a trade, them getting back possibly Buddy Hield and a couple of other guys. I saw a possible trade for them with the Hawks and maybe them trying to get Hunter from the Hawks. I don't know. I mean, that's going to be a push. They don't have any really first round picks to even give in a trade. So it's going to be tough for them. They're going to really depend upon Nick Nurse to really take this team over and hopefully be able to motivate Embiid and obviously get Harden, more motivated to stop going to the strip clubs in Houston every single night, when he can fly out there.
James showing up here tonight, baby.
But I don't think they're going to have that much to do.
I mean, I know Boston would never do it, but Marcus Smart to Philly would have been an interesting fit there. You know what I'm saying? Somebody with some toughness that could kind of lead the team there. I think Philly definitely needs a point.
Too late now.
I mean, not Smart.
No, I mean, I know. I'm just saying. And
Smart wouldn't have fit with Harden and Maxey.
Not at all.
Keith, what was your thoughts on Smart being traded out of Boston?
I was a little surprised because I think he's. Just seeing the Celtics up close as a Knicks fan, I think Smart was one of the.
Oh, you're a Knicks fan. Shit, my bad.
That's okay. But I think Smart is one of the key guys for the Celtics and makes that team go. I don't think he's the problem on that team. I think there's some other guys like Brown and Tatum who don't come up big in big spots. Sorry, Marcus Smart's not the problem there. And as far as the Sixers go, I think Fournier'd look really good in a Sixer uniform if you guys really want the guy who thinks he's a shooter.
Yeah, right.
Let me ask you the same question before we get you and Rob out of here too, real quick. What do the Knicks need to do to get over their hump? Because I like Jalen Brunson. I like him more as the number 2 guy. And are you buying into this fact of trading Julius Randle? Because it seems like that's what the fan base is like. Hey, get this guy out of here. But I would try to keep Randle.
If I was the Knicks, I would kind of look at the Nuggets example and be patient with the team that I have. The Nuggets built the team that they have over time and stuck with their core and didn't make impulsive moves and look to go to a big 3. And listen, Randall may have taken them as far as they can go, but there's nothing out there they're going to be able to trade for that isn't going to be. They've already got a boatload of wing players, let's say, right? We know there's no positions, but bringing in guys like George and even Lillard, I'm not a big fan of any of that. I don't need those guys here. I do think you're right. I think that oh God, I just lost my point guard's name. See, there's the age.
Brunson.
I do think that he will be probably better if he had a number 1 to play off of that was better than Randall. Absolutely. But I don't know how they're going to get that guy that's going to fit the rest of the parts here. And I'm not giving up guys like Barrett. Barrett's 22 years old, and he's got 4 years in this league, and he's only going to get better.
See, I would honestly give up Toppin, especially since he wants to go. If you could put Toppin in with somebody else, and
you might see him go tonight.
Maybe a couple of picks.
I don't know. I just don't think he can get the player. I just don't think
he's just not as physical as you want at that position. Sorry, You know what I'm saying? I could talk Knicks with you all day, Keith. But, you know what I'm
Who are they going to bring in that makes this team better?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that part. I just think they need something. I think Brunson showed that he could play. I think Randall could be a good number 3 on it, but I think they need somebody else to really team up with Brunson. That, like you said, that he can play off of, and then let Julius Randle be the number 3. And I think
you're not willing to let Grimes and Barrett just grow into that number 2 guy besides Brunson?
I mean, I guess, but that's why I'm saying Toppin would be the one if I were to let one of the younger kids go. If I would let Toppin, especially if he's going to complain, especially if he's going to be complaining about his playing time and stuff.
If I find a way to get Rob Sixers to part with Embiid, and I can trade him a couple of picks and a couple of guards, maybe I'll bring Embiid in here.
Yeah, you team him up with Brunson. That'd be nice.
But I don't think it's
never happened, but it'd be nice.
It would.
By the way, I sensed another Johnny Cruz show.
Sorry, Scott, I didn't mean to cut you off. The Pistons took the other Thompson brother.
Wow.
And he's supposed to be the better shooter. Going to Detroit, this Thompson brother. So, how's it pronounced? Asar.
So to Keith and Rob, going back to the Marcus Smart thing for a minute, do you think Brad Stevens just thought that the time was up with this team and with Marcus Smart? They've gone as far as they can go with this team as constituted. So to shake it up a little and make a trade and try to get somebody else in to get them over the hump in the East to the finals. Do you think that was accurate?
Is Marcus Smart the reason they didn't get past the Heat?
I don't think he is. But I'm wondering if Brad Stevens, this is what he's thinking, that we've run it with this team for 2 years. We got to a finals in the Eastern Conference Finals. We couldn't get over the hump this year. Let's try to get it in Porzingis, who's got to make $36 million this year. So that's double what Smart was going to make, basically.
And he'll play 40. And he'll probably play 40 games.
Yep.
Yeah, but I'm thinking.
I want to
maybe he thought this was the end.
Detroit here has been like they're a lottery team every year. It feels like are they ever going to get this thing together? I mean, they got Cade Cunningham. Now they drafted Asar Thompson. I feel bad for all Detroit fans because is there any worse city in the last 10 years of sports and all 4 major sports worse than the city of Detroit? So, I mean, the answer to that question is probably no, because they all are the bottom feeders. And, I mean, the Pistons just fired
backcourt right there.
Left and right.
I don't know any Pistons fans to ask.
I mean, how many coaches in the Pistons in the last decade?
Well said, Keith. I mean, that's a nice backfield right now. You know what I'm saying?
They brought
Cunningham and now Thompson.
They thought he was. Yeah, I mean, the Pistons have brought in head coach after head coach. They brought Dwayne Casey in. They thought he was going to work. He didn't work. The guy before, they thought he was going to work. So they just change coaches every 2 or 3 years. So they need to let a coach be there for 5 or 6 years before they.
Right. Well, they paid Monty a lot of money.
Absolutely. They did.
The Magic are the same way now. We've seen them. They had they got a couple guys. They have
Paolo's a baller, bro.
Paulo Banchero, the rookie of the year, and now mixed in with some other guys. Maybe this team they got to get going. Hopefully, I think they hit on Pablo. Can they hit on this pick? That's a team I think in the East that can maybe start picking up some pieces and get going. Add a nice couple veterans. Here, let's just see who they draft here on the at 6.
They're another team.
Any guesses?
They got
Rob?
Wagner.
He's a nice player too. That's what I'm saying. They took the point guard from Gonzaga, which is Jalen. It's like
Suggs.
Suggs.
You know what I'm saying?
They also got Cole Anthony.
Right.
Yeah, Cole Anthony.
So, like, what exactly do they need to get? Do they need a 3-and-D? Do they need, you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Jarris Walker might be a big.
Yeah, that's who's been mocked.
That's not bad.
Sham says Anthony Black is Orlando's drafting Anthony Black.
They already drafted, or he's guessing. He said
Now that's what Shams is reporting. Who I trust.
Yeah,
and Anthony Black is a shooting guard
out of Houston. Yeah.
Anthony
but again,
Black.
he's another primary ball handler, and you already got the Suggs, and you know what I'm saying. So I think the Walker, the kid from Houston, he's got a big body. They're saying here he's got the most NBA ready body out of all the forwards in the lottery. So maybe he's somebody that you can team up with Paolo, since you already have those those guards in Suggs and Anthony. I mean, I live in the Tampa area, so I see a lot of Orlando stuff. You know what I'm saying? Orlando games. I don't mind Orlando. They're actually, you know what I'm saying, fun to watch, especially now that they got Paolo there. So I'm interested to see what they get and see if they can actually make some noise and do something.
Yeah, I think
because after once Shaq left, like they was just done, man.
Rob, are you surprised?
That was 90-something.
Yeah. Are you surprised Whitmore has not been drafted yet?
Well, I mean, like I said, there's some kind of report that came out yesterday about some kind of medical issue. I don't know if it's with his hand still, because, he didn't play most of the season for Villanova this year. He missed probably the first 10, 12 games of the season because of this hand issue. So maybe they think it's still an issue. And, that's why. But Whitmore, I'm going to tell you, Whitmore has an NBA body right now. He is ready to go.
Jay Billis said the same thing. I was watching an interview with Jay Billis the other day, and he said all Whitmore's got to do when anybody asks him if he's NBA ready, just pop his shirt off, and he's ready to go. I mean, we got the same deal.
It says here there are rumblings that Whitmore is slipping on draft board due to his medical evaluation that took place at the combine.
The NBA, more so than any other sport, when a medical comes out, a guy slips and starts going way down. More than any other sport.
I'll tell you this though. I don't think he slips more. I don't think he slips past 10 though. I don't think he goes.
I don't think
he'll stay in the top 10 somewhere.
Well, as long as you're a lottery pick, I think you're okay.
Dallas at 10.
And actually, the 10th pick of the match
is
be a perfect
spot.
for him.
It should have gone to Keith's Knicks, to be quite honest, because that was some pathetic stuff that Dallas did there at the end of the season.
Yeah, we don't want
to secure that pick. But I'm just saying, a top 10 pick for the Knicks right now would have been pretty nice.
That would have been awesome. But you know what? They could have had the way when they pick guys from France, they could have had the number one pick, and this kid would have stunk, because every time the Knicks take anybody from France, the guy blocks us out of the league.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys this, because I've talked with these three yahoos about Victor Wembanyama. Rob, what's your immediate thought on Victor Wembanyama? They're hyping this guy up as LeBron James and more.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
2K player.
The only scary thing about this kid, I mean, he has incredible skills. He can shoot, he can dribble, he can pass, he can do it all. But the one thing he has to have is he's got to put more weight on. Because to me, this reminds me a lot of Chet Holmgren from last year. Chet was supposed to be this great player. His frame was definitely not NBA ready, and look what happened to him. So, Victor definitely.
Break it up there.
Scott froze there.
He froze a little bit there. I mean, he definitely seems a lot more skilled, in my opinion, than Chet coming out. But I hear him. That's the one thing I worry about with the skinny talk is the injuries, man. I always worry about them, unfortunately. And he's gonna get pushed around. I agree with Rob. He's gonna get pushed around a lot.
You and Scott were there when Dr. James Naismith created basketball. I believe Keith was holding up the peach basket and you were shooting the ball in. From what my sources have told me, is Victor Wembanyama, is he as hyped up or is he as good as they say? Have you been around since the ABA, NBA? You've seen it all. Every player walk through the league.
Listen,
I'm gonna get my nurse to give me my drool cup first.
Well done, Scott.
I try to get mine out of the way before the shows. That's more professional. But yeah, listen, anybody comes in the league this hype. I've seen a lot of guys. You got good ones that come in and they could be string beans. Wilt Chamberlain was a skinny guy when he came in the league, but he was strong. And I don't know how strong this kid is. To back up what Rob was saying a little bit. I got to see him play against the big guys. But the big guys aren't there. There isn't the bangers that there used to be in the NBA either. So, maybe. Right. Maybe that's not as important as it used to be, but look it's hard to live up to that hype for anybody, right? How many guys? Kobe.
I like that.
LeBron.
I've said this before, Keith. I believe LeBron James is the only player that came in with that much hype and is crushed it.
Lived up to it.
Lived up to it, right? Like LeBron had all the pressure. King James from 18 years old. We were watching this kid on ESPN. I was in high school at the same time as him, and watching him play on ESPN high school games and watched his whole life pretty much. And he's never had any sort of scandal, never had any trouble. The only thing we knock him on is he created the super teams, right? Like, I mean, he was the initial guy that said he was taking his talents to South Beach. That was over a decade ago. Let's give him his flowers. He's nailed it out of the park. And now we're putting the same pressure on this Victor Wembanyama kid. And, hopefully maybe he is going to be the future league of the league, but I'm with you guys. I worry about his size and his strength. That's
why I honestly think San Antonio is probably the perfect spot for him. With that coach, with that organization, he's not going to be in a big time city. He's going to be in San Antonio. They have a ton of experience with foreign born players. So I think they're going to handle him well there. I think that's like I said, the perfect fit for him. I don't know how long Pop's going to stick around. But at least
hold on, Johnny.
A couple years. What's up?
We got a trade here. Pacers trade number 7 to the Wizards, and Indiana selects Wemby's teammate Bilal Colombi and trades him to Washington. So that's the trade there that just happened.
So and before that, Anthony Black went 6 to Orlando. I think that's a good pick. But who? Wow.
Yeah. And so they swapped picks. I guess the Pacers are on the clock again.
So Washington's average age of their team is going to be like 24 or something like that, because they're definitely going all the way young. They're not.
Rob, I know you guys are crunched for time. I'm gonna let you get back to watching the draft with Lucas, and you guys can find out where your guy from Villanova goes. Where can everybody catch you at, and what shows you got coming up?
We're going to try and do an NBA, probably one of our final wrap-up shows where we maybe go over and talk about this draft and talk about the trades and everything that's going on. And then on Monday night, I'm back with my interview show. And then Tuesday, we got our Yankee show.
Yes, I will be back for that. My apologies.
There'll be more ranting and raving.
Keith, thanks for holding it down for me. Appreciate it. Of course, you come
Yankees
on the show when I'm not there. I see how it is, Keith.
They told me I was a regular now, Johnny, that you had retired.
I got traded. See? All kinds of trades are happening, man.
Listen, Johnny, you're going from let's talk Yankees to let's talk Knicks. So
we can't afford Johnny.
Hey, I'll do it. I don't want to talk about my Yankees right now anyway.
Hey, we appreciate you joining us, Rob. Give it up for everybody for Logan Sports, Mr. Rob Logan.
Thanks for coming on,
hopefully
guys.
Lucas is still hitting them jumpers, baby.
Yeah, we'll see. Thanks, guys.
Keith,
see you, Rob.
Keith, I got to ask you one question before we get you out of here too. It's late at night. NBA's on. You and Scott are in the in the nursing home together in the same room. Who's fighting the win in the channel? Are you guys watching the Knicks or are you guys watching the Celtics? Who's winning that match? Because I know in football, both Pats fans.
He falls asleep. I change the channel. I fall asleep. He changes the channel. We each watch out half the game. So.
Nice.
By the way, when it comes to Wembanyama, by the way, and the hype, there's a whole lot more Darko. Speaking of the Pistons, Darko Milicic or whatever his name was.
Yeah, I remember.
A lot more of those guys.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot more of those guys than there are Kobe's and LeBrons. Let's just so let's not
well said.
get a whole thing yet.
This year, before Keith goes, one last question: does this year seem like a very underwhelming draft?
Oh yeah, I mean, Yes, it seems underwhelming. I think is an underwhelming word to use because it just doesn't feel like anything. It's just very anticlimactic for sure after him.
Yeah,
there's a lot of potential. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of athletic guards, like I mentioned to start off. It's a guard heavy draft, especially in the lottery. So,
and you're drafting a lot.
The kid that Washington just took, he's not even 19 yet, bro.
Yep.
So wow. So yeah, these kids, there's some babies getting picked up here.
The NBA is like that though, Johnny. It's like we draft.
I know. But I like what
we draft these
doing.
Kids
I know. But
Washington's.
Just go young. Just blow it up. That's what Portland needs to do. I know Keith mentioned that you're not going to get a lot for Dame Lillard, but you probably want more picks and more younger players anyway than to try to. I mean, I know they got to make the money even out or whatever match, but I mean, Portland should have blown it up a couple years ago. But I mean, I think get whatever you can for Dame and just blow it up and try to just try to start all over again.
Well, really, the NBA is two spots. You're in two spots. Either you're all in, and like the Suns are, we have no cap space. We're going to pay 5 players, and that's it. Or you got to, scratch it all out and start all over again. And that's what the Wizards are currently doing. So, and try to build it up because you don't want to be like my Bulls and just be playing in the play-in game.
Right.
And, you're just middling around, So, like, what can you either, get you over the hump like the Celtics made the move for Porzingis, or can you just throw it all away and you got to build it all back up? So you don't want to be somewhere not in either the lottery. You want to be either in the lottery or you want to be, championship caliber basketball team.
Right. I agree. Washington's another one that should have blown it up like 3 or 4 years ago.
They're blowing it up now, Johnny.
Yeah, I know, but they should have done it 3 or 4 years ago. They probably would have gotten more for Beal then. But it is what it is.
They blow it up every 2 years. That's all it is.
Washington, but you talked about the Pistons. The Washington has been good for like 50 years. I mean,
right.
Exactly.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
All
right.
Yeah, Keith, where can everybody find you at?
You can catch me at my Let's Talk Sports shows all over, certainly on Let's Talk Sports, Northeast Streaming Sports. We broadcast on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We've got our Are You Serious show. The Mad New Yorker will be missing tomorrow, unfortunately. So my head will probably, I probably won't need medical attention tomorrow morning.
Not
about
tomorrow.
So I'll survive the next couple of Fridays. But we'll also have our Sunday Stream of Consciousness show where we talk all sports and certainly we do our Let's Talk New York Sports with our own Dan Harris every Friday and the Major League Baseball update on Friday. Friday's a busy day for Let's Talk or for TGI Sports Talk. So we'll try to get through tomorrow and get through the weekend. And we got our sports huddle starting back up, college sports huddle starting back up in a few weeks as we get ready for the next college football season. So.
Nice.
That's
All
right.
right. Hey, everybody, give it up for a man who was there when Dr. James Naismith started the game of basketball. Yeah. Our very own Scott Cobe's roommate at the nursing home, Mr. Keith Engle. Thank you, Keith, for joining us. You and Scott share some Jello tonight. I'll tell Scott to leave the light on for you.
Tapioca tonight. It's not Jello. Come on, get it right.
I don't know. I just know every once in a while you got to miss the show for bingo night.
They told me rice pudding, and if it's not rice pudding, I'm going to be very upset.
You send it back. You send it back, Keith. Keith, we appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Night, guys.
Hey, just to update Nick before we bring in our next guest. So Orlando took the Anthony Black. You said Washington traded up, and they took Bilal Coulibaly.
Yeah,
France.
They traded.
They traded up. They traded up to get him, and then Indiana wound up with Jerace Walker from Houston, the 6'8", 200
power forward.
The power forward. That's probably a good pick for Indiana. They need some size after they traded this kid to.
I love the
Jerace
Walker pick.
Yeah, I like that pick too. I thought Orlando could have used that. Detroit could have used. Detroit could use everything like we were talking
about. The Jazz here are very interesting pick here because they were really hot at the beginning of the year. Kind of the surprise team, almost the first half of the season, trailed off there at the end. So they're kind of a surprise pick. We'll see what they do. I wouldn't be surprised if it's weird because like some of these teams is like, hey, should they trade? It's all smoke screens right? Though, like this is just like you just it's more smoke during these draft seasons than at a Snoop Dogg concert. So that's just kind of how that's kind of how this is.
What do you? So I got a question before while we're waiting on Mr. Brosnan to get in here, and we're about to hit hour 2. I got a big question for you guys, and Sam, I'd love to hear from you as well.
Oh boy,
because this is something
no one has ever said that. Honey, somebody wants to hear from me.
So, obviously, so far in the top 8, we've only had 3 colleges guys taken. Right, everything else is overseas or within the G League.
Yeah.
Do you think this is where we're shifting in the basketball future? Essentially, is that now we're going? The G League guys used to never have a chance. Whenever if you skip college, you maybe get lucky to get one in the top 10. Now you got multiple here. Do you think this is shifting now?
Yes. Here's why. Well, here's why, because there's more money in the G League. It might shift back now due to the NIL.
I was about to say, depending on the NIL and what kind of deals they can get NIL, that's the only thing they can do it. But if they can actually make money in the G League or overseas, they're gonna do that instead of pretending to go to college for one semester and play college ball. You know what I'm saying? So unless they change that to where you have to go to college for 2 years, or if they just let people go straight into the draft, which is what they should do. My feeling is if you can go to the military at 18, then you can go play in the NBA. You shouldn't have to go to college, but if you do go to college, they should have to go for at least 2 years, just to kind of, I don't know. I think they need it. A lot of these kids, could use some more, time in college, but unless the colleges and those NIL deals start paying more, these kids, if they can go to the G League for a year or 2, or overseas for a year, and then come and make money for that year, and then come back and get drafted, because they're jumping into the league so that they can get to their second contract as quickly as possible.
Well,
so that's why these kids want to get in there.
It was either the Twins or might have been even Scoot Henderson. One of them guys played 2 years in the G League. So that's
the Henderson kid, right?
Yeah. So that's the thing is hey, what at that point they're not going to school they're not going to college to get an education. They're going to get the NBA. Right. So how can I better myself to get prepared for the NBA? Well, really, would I rather go play against a bunch of the high school kids, or rather I go against grown men in the G League, a bunch of guys who've been in the league or trying to make it in the league, or go overseas again, play professionally. That's the American kids. The European kids are growing up in that league and playing in European and playing in the NBA. Right off the bat. Somebody just said NBA, not NBA, right? So they're playing. We saw Luka Doncic, even with Victor Wembanyama. They're playing at 16 years old, professional basketball. Right. Even Jokic and those guys playing basketball
against grown men at 16 years old.
2 things. One, Facebook user Brandon Miller went to Alabama. He's
by the way, that is the Mad New Yorker in the chat. So
is that New Yorker?
Mad New Yorker.
Facebook user. What up?
Brandon Miller went to Alabama. That is an SEC school. Number 2, the NBA has gone globally, so I think you're going to see more kids come out of France and those countries into the NBA. So I think the NBA is perfectly fine with the influx of French kids and Italians, whoever it may be. So
one thing I saw today that they were talking about too is that over there they teach their kids everything. Regardless of your size, they teach them how to play, how to shoot from the outside, how to handle the ball. It's not one of those where you're a big guy, so you go down low, you only play down low, and the guards are guard. You know what I'm saying? So they teach them every aspect of the game. That's why they tend to be a lot more well-rounded when they do come to the league. And like Nick said, they're playing with grown men at 16 years old. So they're getting the experience. What do you think the NBA likes best? You think I'm sure they're loving the G League because it's basically a developmental league for them. They can't like these guys going to college for like I said, one semester to play one season. There's no way that these kids, except, of course there are the exceptions, but a lot of these kids are not ready to come into this league and play against grown men. So that's why I say the whole 2-year thing, or maybe the G League for a couple of years, so that they can get some experience playing against, grown folk, for lack of a better way of saying it, to prepare them to play in the league.
And if you look at it that way, because you are going against guys that have been on the bench, been in the league at some capacity usually.
Hey, here's hold on a second, Tanner. I want to update the draft board real quick, and I want to get Sam's thoughts and then bring our guest in.
By the way,
so Jazz draft UCF forward Taylor Hendricks at 9.
Good pick.
Oklahoma City is acquiring Corin Wallace from Dallas at number 10, or Cason Wallace. So Dallas trades back. They get the Thunder get Cason Wallace at 10.
Here's your breakdown while Nick unfreezes of the Pacers Wizards trade, guys. So we got Pacers getting pick 8, which ended up being Jarrett Walker, and then you got the 2 second-round picks from them. Meanwhile, the Wizards get Balala Kolabit.
And they literally traded up 1 pick.
That's all they did, and they got 2 second-round picks.
They pulled the Bears. They pulled the Bears and moved up 1 pick to grab Trubisky.
A lot of times in the NBA, you'll either see these second-round picks go, or you'll see these 2026 protected first-round picks go in trades like this. So
absolutely,
they didn't. They overpaid a little, but they didn't overpay a lot because this is a kid they wanted.
What's up with the
the
second-round picks in basketball? Are they just candy or whatever else?
Nah, they're nothing.
Sometimes they're candy, sometimes they're just depends.
Sometimes they're projects. Sometimes they're overseas guys that aren't even going to come into the league for a couple years.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So it's usually a lot of that. But you do find gems. I mean, the Jokic from the Nuggets was a second-round pick.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And Sam, what you find with these second-round picks
was Green from –
they'll send them to the G League.
Right. Okay. Was Green Green from Golden State? Was he a second round pick or was he a Draymond? Draymond. Yeah, he was a second round pick as well. So every once in a while, I think Manu Ginobili was a second round pick. That's what I'm saying. San Antonio was a perfect spot for Victor, in my opinion. But I like what Orlando's done. I like the Anthony Black kid for Orlando. He's an athlete. He's you know what I'm saying, he's somebody, and they've got multiple first round picks. I think they got one coming up at 11 or 12. So why not take that chance? Yeah, at 11.
The guy that right now is slipping is Whitmore, and whoever gets him now is going to be.
Yeah, that's the one with the medical. That's the one with the medical issue at the combine.
Let's go ahead and
he's a big dude.
Let's bring our guest in. He's been waiting for a minute. We talked a little UFC with him a few weeks ago, and then he hit me up, said, "Hey, man, I could spit some NBA knowledge too." Give it up for our boy Whit from Rec Room Sports joining us.
What up?
Welcome to the program, Whit. There we go.
We got a little delay here, but we're good.
Little delay, but we got you, Whit. What's up, my man? How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How you doing?
Welcome, bro.
What's your thoughts of the draft so far?
I heard. Yep.
All right, breaking up.
All right,
baby's yelling. Baby's yelling. That's right. Normal.
Oh snap!
Hey,
I wonder if you can hit him in the private chat. Tell him to log out and then log back in.
Hey, we'll get back to him. Go ahead. We'll have to get back. Yep. And we'll get back to it. Whit'll join us in a minute. Sam, I want to get your thoughts so far. I know you're dipping your toes to the NBA process here. You're learning a lot, taking a lot of information. What's your thoughts so far on kind of your first NBA draft?
It's very kind of chaotic. Like it's just kind of shoot, you know. And then it's like, oh, here's this trade, and I'm used to NFL draft where it's this pick and it's like, so they're gonna get all these players and all these picks, right. And I'm just sitting there like, is that a good thing? Well, could be kind of, So it's kind of
I'm about to say, aren't you promoting something too, Sam? Did we do a poll or something as far as for the
We're gonna announce that at the end, right, Sam? You're gonna pick your fan base.
Well, I mean, we didn't even mention it to at all during the show. Saying we can put that out there so we can see some comments.
Go ahead, Sam. Promote yourself.
Down to
three. List the three. List the three.
Oh, do I have to?
Yeah, list the three, and then people will comment. We'll get people to comment.
Okay. I wanted some places that were in like driving distance. Okay. So I have the Grizz, I have the Pacers, and I have the Hawks. Those are the three.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
Wow.
So we're down. Sam is down to 3, folks. Put your comments on which fan base Sam should join. He's picked out 3. The Memphis
Grizzlies,
Grizzlies,
those 3 out, and I would grab
Atlanta
more,
Hawks,
Sam.
and the Indiana Pacers.
The Celtics.
All right, Indiana, Atlanta, and Memphis.
Oh, come on.
So there you go, people.
It's gotta be Memphis.
All right,
It's gotta be Memphis.
panel. Your boy. What up?
All right. Hey, there he is. Whit, what's up,
right.
with me?
Hey man, thanks for having me again. I appreciate you guys. I don't know what happened just now, but I'm in here. I'm home. I'm home.
That's what I like.
We're good. We can. I can't see you, but I can hear you. There you go.
Anything jump out at you or surprise you so far with these first pick? Which one's your favorite besides Victor? Obviously going 1. Anything jump out at you so far?
What's really getting me, and I saw it happening, but I didn't know it was going to continue through the draft. Washington is cleaning house. I don't care who you are.
Mm-hmm.
If you had a bed in Maryland, D.C., Baltimore, Virginia, you might as well just pack your bag just in case. Because right now, they are resetting everything. I just looked not too long ago. I saw that Washington declined Kyle Kuzma's player option. So, Kuz, you got to go.
He
Nothing, though. They didn't. How
to
do you do? You don't get nothing for him,
right?
No, he declined his option.
You got to go.
Yeah, I know, but they should have came up with something before this season to make sure they get something out of that kid. You know what I'm saying? He goes
right, but and it's one of those situations where, I feel like a lot of the teams right now are taking that old Celtics / Oklahoma City way of rebuilding. Where okay, I love you. You've been here a few years, but I'm going to go ahead and get these draft picks. And right now, Washington had basically given up the franchise with Bradley Beal. They originally gave up their original franchise with John Wall years ago because, John Wall's in the gang. I guess they don't like that. And then now, having Kristaps Porzingis, and I'm a Celtics fan, so I'm kind of happy about that one. Kristaps going to Boston, it's kind of crazy to see what's going to happen. And in all actuality, I was looking into a few things prior to the draft, with Wembanyama, and then all of a sudden everybody was going, well, don't forget about, I think it's Bilal, right? The friend, the teammate.
Yeah.
And the teammate is in French is a big part of their team out there for the Metropolitan 92. So I was kind of I looked at that and I said, hey, I know he's going to get picked up. But, of course, the Indiana trade happened, and so now he's going to go to Washington. So that I think they're really trying to set the stage for, maybe not a big comeback, but, a slow roll into some prominence in the Eastern Conference, looking like, 9-10 in the bottom because, of course, they just got what's my guy's name? I just was looking at it. From Memphis, what's his name? Tyus Jones. They just got Tyus Jones. Tyus Jones. If anybody knows, Tyus Jones is a starter somewhere.
He's a good player.
He's a good player. I liked him at Duke.
Yeah, he's a good player. That's a nice backfield. Him and Jordan Poole. And then this kid. Does anybody know anything about the kid they drafted? The Bilal.
Bilal, I don't.
So Bilal Koulibaly,
he's Wembanyama.
6'8". He's got a 7'2" wingspan. Played with Metropolitan 92. This past offseason, he averaged 8.9 points. And he was second in assists on the team. So he's a leaper. That's what I was getting to, is that when I was doing my research on Wembanyama, some of what I was getting taught, you know how it is, you tossing stuff about on Google, and then the next thing is like who else is on the team, and it was always him and his highlights. So right now it looks like Washington's getting ready to have a youth movement. When I say youth movement, you want to compare that to something like what Houston's doing. Houston's really young, brand new coach. Shout out to my old coach out there in Houston. I'm mad that they had to run him away because he had an affair. That ain't nobody business, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Right. But I'm seeing, Washington and Houston somewhat mirroring each other.
Hey, Whit, can you hit a jumper?
Yeah,
So talk about the
Hey, well, the Wizards might need you. The Wizards might need you.
I'm right now.
Well, I'm about to say he's too old. He's too old to play for the Wizards.
Right. I'm more so on the coaching staff.
They need a veteran leadership.
Right. Exactly. I'm gonna make sure they stay out of all the go-go nightclubs.
Hey, real quick, the Orlando are selecting Jeff Howard. Oh, you already got it, Tanner. You're on top of it there.
Yeah,
Hey, this pick should be Dallas, right? Because Dallas swapped picks with the Thunder.
Yeah, it's the other way.
The way NBA draft works, you still see the original team on the draft board.
Gotcha.
So when the pick is selected, then the trade happens.
Yeah, so they're like selecting them on behalf of that other team.
Right.
Yeah.
They'll do it that way.
They're still on the board as if having been selected by said team.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
Jet Howard to Orlando.
Jet Howard to Orlando.
Yeah.
It says here,
So,
Howard
let
is
me
one of
ask
the
you
best
something
three-point shooters in this draft class, brings size and solid passing on the wing. The youngest son of Jawan Howard, averaged 17.9 for 40 minutes. Excellent spot-up shooter. I like what Orlando's doing, man. I like Orlando.
Orlando is doing
together, man.
Orlando's doing a nice thing too, in my opinion, with the guard, with the backcourt selection.
Yep.
Because if anybody's paying attention to the draft these last few years, Orlando's been running 6'8", 6'9" forwards and centers back to back all year long. So these last few years, this guard selection, and right now with Jet Howard, Jet Howard was balling at Michigan. Although they teetered towards the end, Jet Howard was actually, one of the guys I definitely was keeping my eye on when Michigan was on TV.
He had a pretty good year.
Yeah.
Scott, you were saying something?
Yeah, I want to ask, I guess, a Tanner a question. Grady Dick, where do you think he's going to? How much further?
From Kansas?
I think top 15. I know Jay wouldn't say his name when he was on the show, but I know Whit probably will. So I think you got him. I see him either going to the Pellies.
What about OKC? Why wouldn't OKC jump on that?
Because that's a Mavs pick. So
hey, Dallas selected.
Okay, right. You're right. That's why. See, I just got confused by that shit too.
Hey, Derek Lively selected number 12.
Derek
Lively.
Yep. So we're still missing boy from Villanova. Still hasn't been drafted, and we're out of the top 10 here.
Yeah.
Whitmore. Yeah.
Whitmore.
Yeah.
Still not drafted.
Again, there was some medical thing that came out in the combine, so it's gonna have.
Yeah, did Whitmore have like a foot or something?
Yeah, reminds me of
Michael or something.
Yeah.
Reminds me of Michael Porter Jr.
off of the medical.
Yeah.
Michael Porter Jr. same way. He would have been number one pick probably his year, but fell all the way almost outside. I think it was the last pick, lottery pick to the Nuggets.
Right?
He was back because he had back surgery.
He had back surgery or something like that.
And he's had 4 back surgeries since, and the Nuggets have stayed patient and paid off for him this year as they won the championship.
Somebody's going to get a good player in him if it isn't that serious and he stays healthy with us. Somebody's going to get a good player with the Whitmore kid.
Somebody may trade up together.
I got another sleeper somewhere in here, and I know it's probably. I don't think he's going outside of 25, really. With Dariq Whitehead from Duke, I know he's young.
Yeah.
But right now, that long forward, that forward guard is happening right now. He's already 6'7". He injured his foot in August, but as somebody that does shows with Duke and North Carolina players, I got a chance to watch a little bit of him play. I'm seeing somebody picking him up towards the tail end of the draft and watching him grow. But he needs to get healthy. That's the main part. He needs to be
all right.
100%.
Let's bring in our second guest in this hour as we get towards the end of the first round, actually middle of the first round still. Mr. Dan Brosnan. Dan, what's up?
What's going on?
Man.
Dan, what is up?
Perfect person to ask how he feels about the Magic, man. We're just talking
Man,
about
so that first pick was nice. The first pick was nice, but I thought the second one, I just kind of saw it was while I was getting in here. I thought it was a little of a reach on a lot of draft boards. I saw him like in the 20 to 25 range, but maybe they're looking for a shooter and they see something because the team is lacking shooting. So if they're, like, everyone has those gut guys that, like, you know what? Maybe he can develop into a Kyle Korver type guy where we can just kick to because Paolo's going to be open. Well, I see Paolo as a guy being like an all-star for a few years, man. At least 3-4 all-stars. He's going to get double teamed. Now we got Black there to penetrate and play make, but we need someone to make open shots, man. Now, I am a Milwaukee Bucks fan, but my second team, I've seen the Magic like 3 times, and every time they just bring their A game, and there's not a lot of good players, but this is like – they're almost like the OKC of the East.
There are a lot of tall players, just like OKC
guys, dude. And lately, they've been swindling everybody. Like they swindled the Chicago Bulls, man. They straight up like got them.
Yeah, and don't even get me started on that trade, Dan.
Oh, let me we got Bodkins here.
I was waiting for him to get like lit. I was like, oh, he said
let me ask you this before. What's your Bucks fan? What's the thing on Middleton? Opted out, $40 million free agency. Are they going to bring him back? They got to bring him back, right? Like that's a guy they got to bring back.
Yeah. So it's kind of the same thing with Draymond Green, right? They're going to get paid both more this year on the 1 year, but they're trying to parlay that into multiple years, and they both know that the home team can pay more than anybody else. So Chris Middleton is looking at, instead of getting like a 1 year and $40 million, he's going to try to play that into like a 3-year, $35 million a year type deal. So it's same thing with what Draymond's trying to get, and with Chris Middleton's kind of a similar situation in the sense of they're kind of older. Chris Middleton is more of a scorer, but those injuries are starting to stack up against him. But as a Bucks fan, who else you going to get right now? Like, who else is going to be Chris Middleton as of right now? And because we're already over the tax threshold, it's not like even if we get rid of Middleton, we don't have max money to pay for a free agent. It's a weird murky road. So it's almost like you feel like as a Bucks fan, you have to just re-sign everybody and do what you do now. Maybe down the line, if you wanted to break off one of those pieces to get multiple, other pieces, that's one thing, but I think right now you got to re-sign the whole team or I mean, there's no money to spend, and we lost all our draft picks. We gave them all away. I mean, we gave away 6 second rounders, bro, for Crowder and didn't even play them in the damn playoffs. Like,
well, that's why you get made a coaching change. That's why you made
the coaching change totally makes sense because as a fan that watches most games, like he gets out coached. Bud, he's a great regular season coach, but during the playoffs, there have been so many rookie coaches that have out coached him. And it besides, even in the finals, it felt like we were doing dumb stuff, but Giannis was averaging 40. Like, he was having 50 points a game. Like he was outplaying the coach who was trying to lose the game. And the problem with Bud is if we're making all of our shots, we're going to win every game because we take the most shots and we give up the most shots, right? But what if we ain't making our three-pointer? We will lose every game. Every time we lose any game, it's because we don't make enough shots and we give up the most three-pointers. And sometimes your Boston Celtics of the world, your Miami Heat of the world can make 14 to 20 in a game and then you lose. So yes, it's a weird time. Part of me is like, oh, we're screwed with Celtics. Hey, how did y'all get Porzingis and 2 first-rounders? What?
Let me tell you about the magic of Danny Ainge just still in that room, buddy. Okay.
They got him on speed dial or something.
Tweets. Danny Ainge got a burner account. He's been sending out messages. But seriously, but you making a great point. One of those things I want to throw out to you, man, is that in Milwaukee, and a lot of teams, just like you said with Draymond, the Players Association agreed to this new 1 and 2 apron. That second apron has a huge penalty that teams without, if you're not Steve Ballmer, you don't want to pay. You know what I mean? And right now, and Milwaukee is one of them. Now, I love Chris Middleton. I don't know if y'all know, but Chris Middleton is from Charleston, South Carolina. They never let him talk on the microphone because he's geeky. Okay? Nobody wants to know that. All right? But the idea is Chris Middleton being hurt so much, they're going to probably try to reduce him. You're right. 35 sounds nice, but you might as well take 24. Do a 1 and 1. Come back this year. You like next year, we're going to bring you back again. But in Draymond's case, and I really was trying to get to this point eventually because I know we got to talk about some of these moves. In Draymond's case, Draymond's money would have been in Memphis. Okay, and I got some stuff I've been watching. The Memphis Grizzlies wanted to replace, John's homeboy, which we will remain nameless, and put Draymond Green in there. Yeah, right. They wanted to replace Dylan Brooks with Draymond Green and have Draymond Green basically be, hey man, look, this is your vet. This is who you follow behind. Let's have him be your solid and a great defender. So instead of that, the trade took place, and they got Marcus Smart. So they basically got the same player except for Marcus Smart in 6'8". But Marcus Smart plays bigger than he is. And I, as a true Celtic, I'm hurt that he's gone. But there were times last year when in the playoffs that guard tandem became really stagnant and something wasn't happening right. And it's not his fault. He is a off-ball player. Somebody who needs to handle the ball is what we're going for. But still yet, Malcolm Brogdon, I love Malcolm Brogdon, Derek White. Derek White turned into the best six man rather than Marcus Smart. So, but in the same essence, man, I love Marcus Smart. And I love that Chris Middleton idea, man. But right now, one of the craziest things in my mind that have happened these past few days is how are they going to figure out this Chris Paul, Steph Curry deal in Golden State. That's huge.
I'll let you guys talk about that because us three have already kind of talked about it. I hated the deal for the Warriors. It doesn't make sense if you ask me. Dan, what's your thoughts on that? And let me ask you this before you answer that question. It was reported the Bucks missed out on Bradley Beal. How huge would that have been for the Bucks?
Ooh. You know what? That would have been nice, but to the point of spending money and going over the threshold in the apron, there's no way. So, we're already talking about Chris Middleton taking 35, and that's a little – how much is Bradley Beal? He's up to 50 a year.
Bradley Beal's got the max.
There's no – and honestly, obviously, Bradley Beal is way better than Grayson Allen, but Grayson Allen makes $10 million a year. Yes. So when you're comparing what you'd rather have to put the money in other situations, yes, we're probably gonna, because if we can keep Chris Middleton and Brook for the same amount of money as Bradley Beal, I think that's gonna make the most sense. And what helps is Brook Lopez is older, but he's still playing top tier. So hopefully he's not going to ask for anything more than 20 mil. I'm hoping he'll do a team friendly, a 15 mil a year, but that most likely ain't going to happen because this is going to be probably his last.
He wants that big check now, man.
Just so you guys know what the contract details are for Bradley Beal coming up here.
God.
46 and a half mil against the cap this year. 50 mil this next year. 53 after that, and then there's a player option at the age of 33 for $57 million.
Oh my God!
That's each of those are above 30% of the league percentage of the league cap. So this
you're telling me that three players basically will take up the first apron pretty much. Big players in Phoenix will put you over the tax pretty much when you sign all of your other guys. Holy crap.
Dan, they're already minus 81,000 in the cap. They only have 5 players on their roster.
They ain't got anybody.
Listen, man, they're gonna have the trainers out there shooting jumpers and stuff. Like, hey,
I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet, but they got to trade DeAndre Ayton. I'm surprised it hasn't happened so far, but that's the shoe that's got to fall for them. But if I'm every other team, I'm probably, and I mean, I wouldn't really want DeAndre Ayton. He's too expensive in today's world, in today's game. I'd probably say, see you later. I don't want you, DeAndre. And then you're also hurting the Suns if you're not trading for him, right? Like, so, because then they got to figure out how they're going to figure out the rest of this roster, if he's on it.
I mean, it's a crazy thing because they made the coaching change to kind of accommodate the idea that Monty Williams wasn't getting along with the three of them at the same time. But to me, I take Bismack Biyombo and pay everybody else and send him on. But I'm not the GM right now. At this point in time, just like you said, man, just like you mentioned, that apron where you got those three players, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, and
Booker
and Devin Booker. Like when they get into those first team, second team, all NBA selections, like to a degree, the teams are pressed to have to pay them that money. You know what I mean? And of course, KD, perennial, all defense, all first team, NBA. Bradley Beal, little did we know in Washington was second team, I think twice, two years in a row, which is how he ended up with that big $50 million. But the thing was he was playing in Washington and not helping in win shares. But he couldn't do it himself. But this last season, the idea was Kristaps Porzingis, I think for the first time played in 62 games, if I'm not mistaken, and that's the most he's played in since he's been in the league. So they actually had help. But once again, Washington is, I think, taking that OKC Houston mold and saying, look, man, we're just gonna tear it down from under each other and see what happens. Hey guys, real quick, do any of you have somebody that should be drafted that is not in this green room? Because I'm gonna name y'all one for me.
Oh, Grady Dick.
I'm about to ask who's in the green room right now.
Grady Dick just got drafted to Toronto at 13.
Hey, go, Tanner.
Oh, okay.
I like the
OKC.
I like the OKC.
And he's got the "we're not in Kansas anymore" suit on, right? Is that what that is?
He has a Dorothy suit on, yes. And underneath the soles of his shoes, it's red beside Dorothy, so he can click those heels and he can get back home. So
nice.
Hey, watch out, Drake. There's a new dick in town.
Hey Dan, I got Dan. Do you think if God forbid they can't bring Middleton back to Milwaukee, do you think that'll affect what Giannis will want to do in the next upcoming years? Because they're supposed to be pretty close.
Definitely,
it could, and it's one of those situations though because of this. Honestly, I don't think this actually helps anything because you already see teams still making super teams when they put it into effect. I think this hurts everybody. I think that this is a dumb thing. So, like, at first, Giannis might think, oh, this is stupid, but he's going to see the Nuggets lose a bunch of people. He's going to see, like, a bunch of teams around the league, basically, either two things. You either have to kind of thin out your team and constantly bring in new guys all the time with the mid-level exception you can use if you're under the apron, right? Or you can be like the Suns and have three guys and a bunch of plumbers. Like that's what we're running with here. So like at any other time, I think Giannis would be like, screw this, I'm out of Milwaukee. But where are you gonna go where you're gonna get your way, where it's gonna be perfect? Because basically they're trying to add parity to the league. You're all screwed now. You're all fighting with your hand tied behind your back. All of you, even the ones that didn't tank and didn't take advantage of super teams, the ones like Milwaukee and Denver that actually like got rings doing it the good way, y'all gonna suffer too. So like it's a weird thing to have a conversation with because before these rules came into respect, I think everybody would be like, okay, I guess some teams can make super teams, some can't, some don't have the culture, some don't have the fans, if you will, to fill up the stadiums, but anybody can make a super team. However, when it comes down to it, I believe that the Milwaukee Bucks might lose Chris Middleton. However, if they don't lose Chris Middleton, maybe we've got 1 or 2 years left in us. And I think that's what the Golden State Warriors are trying to do too. They're kind of with the Chris Paul thing, and I don't like it at all. You're basically saying, screw the future, screw them picks. Let's get a 37, 38 year, whatever, however old he is. And he doesn't look the same anymore. He can't bring the ball.
He can't stay healthy. He can't stay healthy either,
it's awful.
It's give and take with that Golden State thing, and this is my opinion. That first ring before Kevin Durant, if y'all think back on it, they really played Jared Jack as the one, and Steph and Clay were 2 and 3, and they did this thing where if y'all ever get a chance to watch the podcast, big shouts out to Jay. I hate Draymond Green's bounce passes. Okay. Draymond Green became the king of the DHO and the king of the bounce pass because Jared Jack was the point guard. And I think they want to go back to that formula because, of course, they don't have Kevin Durant. They're not going to have Jordan Poole. They can't trust Jonathan Kuminga quite yet to be rangy forward. So what worked the first time was Steph Curry not having to be mandatory ball handler, Draymond being second as the first and second mandatory ball handler, and then what you do is you bring Chris Paul off the bench 20 minutes, 15, yep. And then you let him sleep. You let him do his retirement tour. He's gonna get like rocking chairs and stuff, and you let him hang out, and you just go, look, man, I'm gonna tell you when I need you. Steve Kerr, come sit by Steve Kerr, pick up a clipboard, tell us about your times in Oklahoma and New Orleans. And be a veteran, but when we need you is when you are never available.
Yeah.
So I think that's what they want to do.
Hey, wait, you had a question.
Before you go.
Oh, go ahead.
Mad New Yorker.
3 teams in the East. What has Detroit shown anybody for them to be considered in the East to be a contender?
Detroit is to me. Detroit is hungry.
Oh,
yeah. Detroit is hungry. Like for instance, when they went and got James Wiseman, which I thought was ridiculous, but apparently Kevon Looney is a dog, so we don't need James Wiseman. All right, so they sent James Wiseman to Detroit, and they're starting once again another place doing that. Everybody had to go, youth movement, and it's happening, but it has yet to show fruition. You know what I mean?
The problem
Orlando
is, can
looks
they be
decent with
the problem? The problem with that and all these teams going to this way, can they be patient enough? Because in 2 years, that's the thing. That's what we have to understand is these are 19-year-old, 20-year-old kids that are drafted. Even James Wiseman's still like 19. He's like 20. Like they're not fully developed mentally and physically quite yet. Like can they be patient enough before they fire the new GM, fire a coach? Like that's the problem that you see. Like Denver was patient enough, right? They were patient enough on Jamal Murray, patient enough with Coach Malone. Like they were patient enough and built that thing up. Milwaukee's kind of changed out coaches a couple times. They had Jason Kidd, they had Bud, and now a couple other coaches there. But like they were patient enough to kind of build the roster up. Will will Houston, will Detroit, will they be patient enough to build this roster up?
Detroit's got to be patient with their coaching because they gave him a boatload of money.
Yeah, well, I would ask for a shit ton of money too if I was Monty Williams because I'm probably going to be getting fired in 2 years because they're going to want somebody else.
Exactly. If any good coach that was going to go there, he was going to get the bag because for a place like Detroit, you have to overpay. It's just like in Milwaukee. For years, if we wanted anybody, we'd have to overpay because it's Milwaukee. Like I feel that. So yeah, Monty Williams was even thinking about it. You're going to give me a max coach deal. Like I get it. And
the max is ever.
That's the thing. Detroit is 2 or 3 years away from even getting in the playoffs. I mean, they're not anywhere close right now. They're just rebuilding again for like the 9,000th time in the last 10 years. So
since Ben Wallace and the boys, right? I mean, really, that's kind of the last thing.
I don't even think they're going to steal games from the better teams, as Facebook user just put. I think they're going to win games against Washington's and all those teams. Yeah, will they win one against a better team? Probably.
I like Jordan Hawkins.
But, yeah, I like him too.
Yeah, Jordan Hawkins.
We talked about him earlier with Robin Keith. So, but talk about Dan. Talk about Adrian Griffin going to Milwaukee now. What do you think about that hire?
I actually really like that hire. It makes a lot of sense. And the one thing I like about, he is a first-time coach, but he was in the league as a player, and he's been an assistant for a bunch of different good coaches.
Like 12 teams, right?
Yeah, it's a lot where, and I guess I was hearing through the grapevine that Giannis was the guy that actually made the push for him. And that's something where, like, hey, it really shows that Giannis has his hands in the cookie jar in Milwaukee. And not a lot of players can get that type of influence. Like, hey, I get to pick the coach too. I think it's going to work. And we just need a coach that can make adjustments. Coach Bud was a great regular season coach, but every playoffs, we would never change anything. We would just do the formula I was talking about, just shoot, and give up the most shots, and hopefully we make more. Like, that was our whole philosophy. And I liked our defense under Bud, but then in the playoffs, we couldn't stop Jimmy Butler, and we had like, how many defensive players? Like,
every defensive player on the second team.
Giannis, Brook Lopez. It just looked awful, and there was no change up of the philosophy. I get that Giannis was hurt. There are things that definitely like go against the Bucks, and with Giannis, dude, he was playing with a hurt back. Of course, you're not going to get him 100%. But it was the 8th seed. I know it was the 8th seed that went to the finals. But once the Nuggets actually played them, they got spanked because they were more talented. The Bucks were more talented, but had to figure out how to beat this team. And we didn't have the coach to do it.
Hey, man, I feel you completely. One of those things I thought about while watching that play, like these last 2 playoff series, really. Because, of course, they did win one. So let's give Coach Bud some credit. I'm slightly old enough to remember looking at it physically and reading about it later. When Phil Jackson coached the Lakers, he wouldn't call timeouts. And when he did, he barely talked. He kind of let the best players, which would have been at one time Kobe and Shaq or Kobe and Paul Gasol, recover on their own terms, being that they were the best players. The thing is, I think that philosophy for him was what they were doing, but he didn't have the second best player in Chris Middleton. So it's kind of hard to say, all right, Giannis, you think about it. And then Giannis is sitting there with the thought bubble over his head and nothing's coming in there. You know what I mean? So I think that with the new coaching regime, it's not like Giannis is above coaching. Giannis is still a young player technically who needs to be encouraged to figure out, okay, these things are happening to you. Here comes the traps. We're going to start curling guys over on corners for you to be able to shoot with. Or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So, and also coaching staffs, really good coaching staffs help with that as well, because the head coach can't do it all.
Yeah, I agree. And it just sucks when you see like a coach like Eric Spoelstra, a Nick Nurse at halftime, they will throw out everything, the whole game plan, and start new. We don't have that in Milwaukee. So it would be nice to see a change up. I love that. And I like that with Phil Jackson, but the thing is, I feel like the NBA is so player empowered now and ego driven. I don't know if that's the best thing anymore.
Yeah,
I don't know, just let them pick the play. I mean, Kyrie Irving said that they didn't need a coach, and we saw what happened with that. So you need somebody to just be like, hey, you guys know what you're doing, but remember this, we're going to go away from this. They're kicking our butt with these plays. We're going to switch zone. Like, good example with Miami. Whenever they were doing man-to-man and they would start to kind of get into a weird frenzy, they would switch the defense on them to throw them off one time. Right. They were constantly playing mind games at least. It's just kind of kind of like in a football game when you run different type of plays to throw the defense off, to think we're going to run it, but really we're going to flea flicker it and throw you completely off. So yes, it's one of those where I would just like our coach to try different things every once in a while. I'll just try, dang it.
Great analogy. Great analogy.
Atlanta selected Cobe Bodkins. So we're still at
Kobe.
Kobe Bodkins, sorry. And we're still at 16 and still no the kid from Villanova. He's out of that side of the lottery now.
Yep.
Yeah. Is this the Missouri
Whitmore
kid?
Never got taken at all?
Yeah, Whitmore's still there.
Yeah. Whitmore's still there.
What happened?
Let's let the Celtics
Injury.
Get Whitmore. That'd be great.
Yeah, I was about to say, maybe the Celtics, because we don't need them right now. I need them later.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Golden State's going to take him.
Dan and Whit, the Celtics have revamped their coaching staff completely. They've gotten some really good assistants. Talk about what you think of the hires that they've made and how important they are to Missoula as a coach.
Okay, let's start from the beginning. I want to say, because I was one of those people going, what the freak is Joe Mazzulla doing? I was pulling my hair out, but I think that, and I had to remember, and I look back at some other stuff. I'm one of those Google everything. Where'd he go to play? Where'd he play at? I had to look back at it. Joe Mazzulla looked real cool playing against Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy Butler was smoking him. So I think that was more of his coaching style, to be real lax, to kind of let the players have the same, almost in the same thing that we were just having a conversation about. So now when you got Joe Mazzulla, when you add, I believe we got what? I just now was looking at.
We got Cassell and
Sam
Phil
Cassell.
Yeah.
And first of all, this is one of those things. Sam Cassell, in my opinion, could have been a head coach by now, but I guess didn't run into the right system. And Sam Cassell has been on several benches that were either always in the playoffs or have been championship contenders. And of course, haven't had the experience of playing with on a championship team. You know what I'm saying? I love that idea because, when they brought Sam Cassell in a long time ago playing with the Rockets, man, I mean, he had to have that fight in him to play with those type of players. These are Hall of Fame players, and they bringing your skinny behind off the bench. Nah, you have to be able to put that into other players, because there are times in which the Boston Celtics, they looked lackadaisical Jason Tatum's going to get 20, and it didn't happen,
Right.
and the rest of that roster has to fill out based on the fact, just like I said, philosophy wise. But I'm liking the fact that we're getting hungry players. Like for instance, with the Kristaps idea with the trade, he's never been anywhere in a system with a winning culture. And my father's a huge Knicks fan, so I'm sorry to say it like that. You know what I mean? And and to say he left the Knicks, he was in Dallas. Everybody thought it was going to be the European connection. Oh, he's with Luka. They're going to be best friends. They're going to drink beer together. Nah, it didn't happen. So now why don't you suck it up? Take a back seat. You can hang with Al Horford. Al Horford loves hanging out and drinking. Why don't you hang out with Al Horford, and we'll bring you in, and we'll show you how. Hey, look up, it's Larry Bird. Oh my God, what you gonna do? You gonna argue with that? No, you can't. So now that he's there, I like the coaching staff and the player movement. Although, once again, I am hurt that we got rid of Marcus Smart.
Yeah. So the Jazz select Keontae George at 16. So we're about halfway through here.
Great pick
of the draft.
By the way, I'm so glad Keontae's gone from the Big 12 because he was a pain in my butt as a Jayhawk.
He was ripping the Big 12.
God, dude. Every time I'm like, here we go again. Here we go.
And I want to go back to something earlier. You said you asked, is there somebody in the green room that we all like, or somebody who do you like that maybe wasn't in the green room or hasn't been drafted yet?
Right. Okay. And this is a personal pick of mine. I'm glad I was on the show so I could talk about him, because I think he needs to be recognized. And y'all might laugh when I say this now, but everybody knows what I'm talking about. I'm talking about forward from Gonzaga, 6'10", been there 17 years.
Drew Timme. Timme time.
Timme.
I think he's a second round pick.
Thank you. And I see him as a second round pick. But the thing is, nobody sticks around 4 years anymore. Nobody comes in as a leader. Nobody comes in with like some type of education and thought process into being. I was a
the
professional
perfect place. The perfect place for him to go is the Spurs. Like he could kind of mentor Victor Wembanyama and be part of that team. He would be a good rotational piece. I like Timmy. A guy I like too is my guy Chris Murray, Keegan's brother from Sacramento. Chris Murray, I think right now he could fall to play with his brother. Right now it's looking like could they take Murray's in back-to-back picks? And then you got that would be excellent. So I like Chris Murray is a guy I'm waiting to see in the first round here.
My guy probably won't first round, probably second round guy should be drafted tonight though. Is Jalen Wilson, Jayhawk.
Well, everybody's getting drafted tonight. There's 2 rounds tonight. We're not staying for 2 rounds. So
no, we're not staying for 2 rounds.
No, you guys are hanging out. I thought you were hanging out.
We hanging out, maybe.
For the first round. Yeah, so for the first round.
About that life.
Come on now.
We're struggling, baby.
We learned our lesson with the NFL draft. That's what happened. We learned it from the NFL draft. We learned to do better.
Yeah. Jalen Wilson, who led the Jayhawks, he scored majority of the points every game. It was a big key piece. This is a guy that kept coming back year in, year out, back to KU. It's his time. He should get a look at least.
I got another one. Out of the SEC, young kid. If I remember reading about him maybe Golden 2 years State. Ago, because the COVID stuff stopped him, and then he got put back into the 2023 freshman class. What is it? Gregory Jackson out of South Carolina. He had some off the court issues, but he started 29 out of 32 games. And if I'm looking at my phone correctly, he got basically he was top of the 2023 recruiting class because he would have been in 22, but 22 had that COVID year where they let everybody get one more. So I mean, he's not going to get that first round look. I know that, but somebody can take him, give him a 2-way, put him on the G League, and they're going to get a trained athlete that you can make a scorer and play defense. The kid's freaking 18, 6'8". I mean, a lot of that stuff you can't teach that. You can't teach 6'8". But in my opinion, just because I did watch a couple of those Carolina games, he can put the ball in the basket. He sure can.
I like that. I like that pick.
I'll give you a kid from UConn, Adama Sanogo, who was just outstanding in the NCAA tournament for UConn. He doesn't care. I read today, doesn't care about his contract, wants to help his people. He's going to send money back, every paycheck he gets or when he gets signed by a team. So I think a kid like that who was probably starting to go up in his career instead of like flatlining, he could be a kid that if you pick in the late in the second round, could help a team late in the season and then into 2025. So
I mean, that has 58 written all over it to the Milwaukee Bucks. Because Milwaukee is the only team that's going to do that.
So, that could be the Chris Middleton
the only guy we can get.
To be honest with you.
Hey, let me ask you guys this: the Lakers are on the clock. What should the Lakers do to kind of end? LeBron's maybe got another year left here. What do they need to do to kind of get over the hump here? Because I don't know if there's a piece out there to help LeBron.
It's tough, man. It's tough. The king needs horsemen, and we only got like two horses, and we literally got Anthony Davis, and there's nobody on the other horse right now.
He's on half a horse. He only plays half the time, Whit.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Right. So
Whit,
it's tough to me because, once again, the idea of playing with LeBron is what got a lot of people to Cleveland, is what got a lot of people to Miami. But now I think it's kind of, it's kind of taking the edge off like a little bit like, well, I could go play with LeBron, but no, now I got to play with Anthony Davis. But, to me, if we could get a healthy Anthony Davis and somehow, some way they can pair, maybe they could pull one of these guards or especially one of these guards, one of these picks that OKC got, because OKC got 25 draft picks for the next 3 years. It's possible. But right now, the best thing that everybody was screaming was, Chris Paul to somehow get to the Lakers. Now, unless Chris Paul is completely against playing with Steph Curry and possibly getting a ring, I don't know who else you're going to stick to play point guard with LeBron right now.
Do you see a Kyrie reunion with LeBron?
Kyrie's going to have to is going to be an interesting one, but because if they get Kyrie, they're going to have to restructure him because he can't take all that money.
It sounds like he's okay in Dallas because he's trying to recruit LeBron to come to Dallas.
Yeah, he's staying in Dallas for the money, it sounds like.
Yeah, that's the point.
If I'm Dallas, I wouldn't know. If I'm any organization, I mean, I've said this before, I don't want no part of Kyrie. I think there's just too much trouble there personally. You know what I mean? Like when he's focused and wants the ball, he can ball out. But that's just a big question.
I mean,
I'm in the mindset of thinking that although the times have changed, if you or me or anybody was to sit with Kyrie Irving is bohemian. You know what I mean? He's a throwback player. He wants to take his shoes off. He wants to walk outside. He wants to buy a ranch. He wants to go sit by the lake and contemplate life. You know what I'm saying? Like that fast pace. Let's stick him in New York. Let's stick him in Boston. Like that sounded cool, but Kyrie Irving wants to be a recluse. You don't want everybody. I don't want to have all these friends.
Well, Jokic, but we don't question whether he wants to play the game or not, or question some of the things he says. You know what I'm saying?
But Jokic, we know what Jokic likes. Jokic likes horses, right? We don't know. We have no idea what Kyrie Irving likes. None at all.
Kyrie is the flaky that you never know what he's going to do. He's the guy that, he's your friend that's super flaky. You invite over and he doesn't show up, but then he gets mad when you don't invite him to the show. Like Kyrie's that guy I like. He's the best ball handler I've seen in my life. He's
the best
so
friend when he shows
sick,
up
man.
to your house.
Nobody knows what he's ever going to do. And there's always a new reason why he's out, why he can't play. It's a new one every year on why, and it is one of those things that nobody questions the talent. I think if he really just turned off his Twitter for a year, just focus on basketball, I think the guy would be up there with the Steph Currys. It's just everything else that comes with him because you never know what's going on in his mind. And then one day he just lets you really know. It's crazy, man.
Right.
He's a crazy guy. He's so flaky. He's a roll of the dice.
Has everybody seen that? It's kind of old now. Like that TikTok he had where he's sitting in a Snuggie in a dark room. He's like, you know what I got? Peace of mind.
Is that the way? Let me ask you guys this, because I kind of asked this question to the guys on a previous show. Is that the way this generation's going? Because you could say the same thing about Zion. Does he even love to play basketball? Because we know he loves doing something else. And
God.
I mean,
I feel sorry for that young man because and this is just because I'm from that area. Where Zion Williamson is from, he was just ugly and unattractive probably to a lot of those women. And then you get famous and get money. You don't know how to control yourself because everybody's
hey, first of all, that speaks to the women in your area. They dumb for that kick. As soon as I saw him dunk a basketball, I'd have been the first one flashing my titties in Zion's face. That's the thing.
Hey, you can ask Jay.
That's what happened, bro. That's what got him into one. He's in the problem, bro.
That's your fault. Hey, y'all women, the South Carolina women did not prepare Zion properly to be an NBA player. So let that man down. Then
South Carolina is 0-2. South Carolina is 0-2 right now for real players. Because we got John Morant, who just like to hold his gun on camera. Then we got
that was my next question. Yeah.
Right. We got Zion Williamson, who just likes to hold other things.
Right.
So it's not working.
I'm not hating on Zion, but it's a real question. Does Zion, Kyrie, even Ja, do they even love the game of basketball? Because it seems like, they're not focused on it, on their job, and they got other stuff they want to do. Ja from what wants to be a gangbanger and flash the guns around. Zion wants to bang. Hey, we all want to bang hot women. I mean, but he got his own thing going on. But he's not even in shape. Like outside of that, doesn't even get in shape to try to play and stay healthy.
John Morant, in my opinion, Okay, and I think we all kind of explored the father thing. John Morant's father needs to stop being his freaking friend and be a father. And
Yes, sir.
Everybody, if you do the investigation, you do some of the reading, that friend of his has been the friend that pointed the laser pointer at the Indiana Pacers bus. He can't even go to the Memphis Grizzlies arena anymore. He's not allowed.
Oh,
But
goodness.
but if it was me, my father has a very bad mouth and would have said, well, why the F is you still hanging around him for? You worth $1 million. FaceTime him, send him home. You know what I mean? That's it. But it hurts to say that. I'm not saying that T. Morant is not a father, but he's more of a friend when he was allowing a lot of this to happen. That's dumb. It's Memphis, and anybody who's done anything outside of school where you might have played in the street a little bit, you know that when you play with guns, somebody else is going to play with a gun with you as well. And Memphis is not one of those places. Young Dolph is from Memphis, king of Memphis, hip hop mogul, got shot buying cookies. Why? Because they think Young Dolph got guns. Duh. You know what I mean? And so I would hate for that to happen to him. So I hope
there's
he
people.
learns.
I've said this before. People in his circle say they don't believe he'll live to see like 25 years old. You know what I mean? Like it's very serious.
Jay and I, big shouts out to Jay from Reg Room. We've had a conversation. He needs to talk to Gilbert Arenas. He needs to talk. He needs to go to the prison where Javaris Crittenton is. Because you know why? Somebody tried Javaris Crittenton, and he was forced to use his gun and kill somebody. He was already thinking he was a thug, but they made him kill somebody. Basically, hey, look, I'm getting shot at. I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time. I got to kill you, and you gonna kill me. Javaris Crittenton will never be who he was supposed to be, and Gilbert Arenas kind of helped that out a little bit, and then in other places, it's the idea of knowing, well, hey, you know what? I can have fun here. Just cut your phone off around me, dog. Cut your phone off.
He needs some new friends. I'll be your friend, y'all. I say that all the time. Zion, I'll be your friend.
He could definitely hang out with us at Rec Room anytime. No phones.
Me and Zion can hit the gym together. You know what I'm saying? We could get in shape.
I don't know if y'all hit gyms.
Hey.
And Zion, in Zion's case, man. All right, this is my last South Carolina rant moment. He does not know how to eat, right? Where we're from, anybody from that, below the Mason-Dixon line, the idea of going to any family member's house includes sodas, pork, rice, greens, all kinds of stuff that when you get to that age or to his size and you want to be a professional, you got to cut that out of your diet. You're hurting yourself because you're 6'8", but you're 250, 265, and you're pigeon-toed. Your knees can't take that, period. And he has to learn to train himself to eat better. Like I moved to Florida. Every corner I go on, there's a crab shack, crab stand, crab daddy. You know what I'm saying? There's somebody cooking seafood, and I know too much seafood is not good for me.
Shrimp soup, shrimp salad.
Same thing.
Hey, where can everybody catch you guys at, and what you got going on there before we get you out of here?
Hey man, once again, you can catch us on the Rec Room. Right now, we're doing our cocoon thing. We're in a chrysalis. We're forming wings. We're getting antennas. You know what I'm saying? So by the time we come out, in about maybe another month or so, we'll be a beautiful butterfly. We're not going to be a moth. No moths. Okay? We're going to be a butterfly. So make sure you just check us out on Twitter. I'm your boy, Cobe. You can follow the Rec Room Sports Podcast on Twitter as well. Big shouts out to Jay on the MIC. You can follow him at Rec Room Sporty. That's at Rec Room Sporty. He's always there. And then the Rec Room page itself is Rec Room Sports. All right. And
we appreciate you as always, Whit.
Once again, don't ask.
Thanks again. Hey, Bodkins, we got some USC we got to talk about.
Hey, who winning the title fight or the main event this Saturday? You taking Tapora? I like Tapora.
I like Tapora, but this is one of those ones, and the last two UFC fights, the ones that we was watching, man, it could go either way because the mat is real, the jiu-jitsu is real, But I like Tipora for real, just like you said, man.
I did too. I like Josh Emmett, but Tipora's got the well-rounded game, so I like him.
He's got the total package.
We'll holler at you later, brother. We'll catch you next time, brother. Appreciate you joining us. Give it up for Whit from Logan Sports, everybody.
All right, Whit. Be safe, man. Have a good night, man.
Good night.
Dan, go ahead and get those plugs yourself in before we get you out of here, brother.
Yeah, you guys can check me out at the Fan Club. I'm the Fan Club 563 on Instagram, the Fan Club on Facebook, and the Fan Club on YouTube. You can also check me out on Let's Talk Sports. Usually it's Tuesdays most of the time, but we also have NBA Thursdays every Thursday. Me and Dan Harris are always talking about the latest and greatest things about the NBA. So check us out there. And thank you guys so much for letting me on here. It was a great start to the draft and a great show, guys.
Appreciate it. Hey, by the way, guys,
thanks for coming on, man.
Check out the only guy that I feel like brings more energy than me sometimes is none other than Dan Bronson. Give it up for the one and only Mr. Bronson.
By the way, guys, I don't know if you guys know this, but this guy has music videos on his freaking
this
guy does everything.
He's multi-talented.
Bars, bud.
He is multi-talented. It's not just sports with Dan, man.
Nick, where's your music videos? What's that?
Hey, your mama made a special one last night.
Oh, jeez, that's not music.
And I appreciate you, buddy.
But
Thank
we
you.
did.
Oh my God!
Get out while you can.
Mom, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry.
On that note, I'm going to see myself out.
Hey, we'll see you later, Dan.
How dare you? My mother's a lovely woman.
Stuff, guys.
Yeah, just real quick, you mentioned the Lakers picking Jalen Hood, Scafino. It says here 6'6", has a 6'10" wingspan.
Woo.
And it says here he's the best pick and roll guard in this draft. So maybe somebody that'll work well with LeBron and with AD. Depending on what else they do this offseason for the Lakers. But
I feel like this draft, man, it's taking forever, man.
Well, they're taking as long as they possibly can with the clock for these picks. Like just.
Hey, number 18, Miami takes Jamie Jaquez Jr. at 18.
Ooh.
Oh, the UCLA guy.
It might be Jaime.
The Lakers to take.
Yeah.
Is it Jaime, or is it Jamie?
Yeah.
I think it's Hispanic. Jaime. Johnny, is it? It's Jaime, right?
It's pronounced. I mean, it's Jaime, but they probably call him Jamie, considering they probably.
Nah, he's Hispanic. It's Jaime.
Right. But again,
you're the Hispanic one. How do I know?
It's pronounced Jaime, but I wouldn't be surprised if they Americanize it and they call him Jamie. I mean, I don't know this Jamie.
If he showed up to the family reunion, what are you calling him? You're calling him Jaime.
I'm calling him Jaime.
All right, then. His name's fucking Jaime.
Yes.
Why'd you just call him JJ?
Right.
Yeah.
Junior. Just call him Junior.
JJJ.
JJ.
Hey, JJ.
JJ. Hey, JJ.
Hey, JJ.
It says here about JJ. He was the glue guy, tough as nails for a very good UCLA team. Any team that drafts him knows exactly what they're getting. Hard worker, contribute right away on a secondary unit. So maybe it was a bit of a reach there, but I'm not going to judge Miami and who they draft and the way they develop. So he's probably going to fit right into exactly what they want him to do. So
does no team want Cam Whitmore? I can't believe this. We're about to be pick 20.
It has to be like a torn. It has to be something that may cost him the whole first year.
Golden State's is going to get
half of the season or something like that. So a good team is going to wind up drafting him. You know what I'm saying? Late in this draft.
Scott, how's the betting going? Who did you bet on going into the draft? I didn't get a chance to ask you when we brought you in.
So this afternoon, Brandon Miller was plus money, and he dived down to minus money late before the draft. I took him at plus money as number 2 pick, and I took Scoot Henderson, who was plus money as well, in the 3rd spot before he went to minus money. So I took both of them at the 2nd and 3rd pick. Hit that. I took Cason Wallace under the 14th pick. He went, 10th or 11th, something like that. He went under 14. And I took the Buffkin kid over pick 12, and he went 15 to 16. The only one I've lost so far is the Bilal kid from that went 8th to. So 4 out of 5, and I'm still waiting on Leonard Miller to see if he gets picked in the next 2, and Olivier Maxine, who I picked over 21st. So those 2 guys I'm waiting on, but it's been a profitable night for NBA draft picks. So
well done there, Scott, man. I mean, not for nothing, but the big guy that you just talked about right there would be a good pick for Golden State.
I think any team that can afford to wait a year for a player like him is in play to take this kid. So
you said the Leonard Miller kid, right?
Leonard Miller, yeah, he's got to go in the next pick or 2.
Yeah,
but I think Golden State's looking for the Jordan Poole replacement type of player in this spot. I don't know if that's Whitmore. I don't know if it's.
You don't think they're good with their wings and stuff? You think they want a young wing? They need some size, bro. They need some size.
Yeah, they need some size.
And this kid apparently could score. He averaged almost 23 points, 14 rebounds in 40 minutes in the G League. Great size and length at the wing position. Miller showed improvement throughout 24 games.
Why not pick Whitmore in the spot? Top 10 talent in the draft. You're getting them at 19.
That's a steal.
That's not bad.
Why not?
We got about 11 more picks to go. So I was looking at Whitmore still. I was looking at the best available still. Whitmore is still at 1. Nick Smith Jr. out of Arkansas. They got listed as 2. My computer's refreshing now, but Ryan Rippert. Oh, Nick Smith Jr. at 2.
Ryan Rupert.
Ryan Rupert at 3. Noah Clooney from Alabama at 4. Bryce Sinsbar at 5, and Leonard Miller at 6, and then James Ninja and Chris Murray are kind of round out the last 8 here.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see who all goes there. Chris Murray possibly could be a great pick for the Nets here. Down low guy.
I mean, Brooklyn's got 2 picks in a row coming up, so
Ooh, lucky them.
Yeah.
So guys, here's what we'll do here. We'll do Sam's picks, and then we'll go ahead and run. We'll go ahead and run the outro, guys. We'll go and wrap it up here, and then anybody that needs to hop off can hop off, and we'll still be live. So we'll have whoever wants to hang out, comment with us in the comments here. But now we got to start with Sam. Sam, what are we thinking, buddy?
Oh,
do we have a choice?
Drum roll, please.
Well, let's do the drum roll.
Give the 3 choices. Give the 3 choices again.
Yeah, give the 3 choices.
I was close to picking OKC, but I really wanted to. I really wanted to be able to go to a game, right? So, as much.
By the way, before you go, Sam, don't do OKC. Alan would be ecstatic if you did it.
He was all over. He was on me on Twitter. I'll tell you what.
It makes sense, man. You want to be able to go to the games, bro.
Right. Yeah. No, exactly. So I was looking up stuff, and you have Grizzlies grind city, right? That really matches kind of the working class people in Tennessee. You're on your grind, you do your job, right? Kind of thing. Yes, and they're pretty decent. And next came up
good time to be a Grizzly fan.
Yes. Next came up the Pacers. And I really liked the Pacers color scheme and everything. But, boy, some of those highlights you're watching between them and the Knicks, oh, my God, that was glorious.
They got some good young talent on Indiana, man.
Yeah,
Halliburton is a good player, man.
Yeah, he's a stud. He's a guy.
And then I looked at Atlanta. In Atlanta, I like a good history lesson, and they are a storied franchise. And then, I got the opportunity to watch some Joe Johnson highlights, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Joe Johnson from 2005.
Go back even further and check out Dominique. And
yeah, I was looking at when everybody else kind of had these nice pages and tabs I can click on. Right. The Atlanta Hawks one was like a bibliography, and I'm like, oh. Okay.
They got a team. They got a team. Quinn Snyder's their coach. They got Trae Young. They got a nice little squad.
DeAndre Hunter, right?
Yep.
Yes. But guys, I got to go with Reggie Miller's team.
Nice.
I got to do it. I was watching him do that choke sign at Spike Lee, and I was like, "Oh, I got to do this." I was like,
"But you're picking a guy."
I think that's a good choice, man. That's a good choice.
Here's my rebuttal. You're picking a team from a guy who hasn't played in that for 20 years.
No, you're right. But
there have history, Nick.
Well, there are other
have
reasons,
history,
right? I think their uniform is cool, but that's not the reason. The reason is I feel like
you didn't want to disappoint your in-laws again.
No, I'm used to doing that. I'm really good at it. Why would I want to stop something I'm really good at? But no, I just look at it, and they've been rebuilding the last 2 years, and I think they're about to make a push. And
That's a good choice, bro.
Thank you. And I love the stadium and everything, and the arena. Boo. Oh, I'm sorry. San Antonio's not in driving distance of Middle Tennessee, bottom line sports.
Everything's in driving distance in America.
Yeah. Enjoy your first-round draft pick. Anyway, so, I just looked at it, and I feel like they're going to make a push here. And, boy, I tell you what else I found on the Pacers, something called the Malice at the Palace.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, that sounds awesome. Is it more Reggie Miller stuff? And I'm like, no, this is not. This is not that.
Sam, there's a good.
That was right after Reggie left, right? Or Reggie's last year.
Right after he left. Yeah.
Sam, there's a good documentary about the Malice at the Palace on Netflix.
Is there?
Yep. Yeah, so
it was like Artest got up there, started beating the crap out of a rando, and I'm
like, the guy threw a beer at him.
The guy threw a beer on him.
Yeah, threw a beer at him.
The wrong guy. He hit the wrong guy.
Oh man.
Punched the wrong guy. It was a mess. Yeah. Jermaine O'Neal, Steven Jackson. They all said like, "Hey, we saw our guy go up there, so we just had to defend our buddy," and then away they went.
Guys, you don't want to go up there. Out of all anybody, those are the other two. Not go up there.
But like looking at it overall, I'm glad they got a new power forward in the draft.
That's a good pick. I like that pick. Bro.
Yeah, because I think that is what is needed, and it was what my brother-in-law said they desperately needed. But they were still kind of pushing for Whitmore.
Houston select Cam Whitmore. Sorry, Stan.
Hey, there it is. No, it's fine.
That's a good pick for them, man. They need as much talent as possible there. But Sam, I like your pick. Go ahead, keep going.
Thank you. No, I am going to get some Pacers gear, and when we talk basketball, I'll be able to wear the gold. But I really love that navy blue with the lions in it. It looks really good.
Yo, Tyrese Halliburton is a stud. You're gonna love him.
Okay,
I think he's gonna play good with this forward they just got. They got Buddy Hield still. They got some talent there. It may take a year or two, whatever, and let's see what else they do in the offseason. But I think you made a good choice there, Sam. Out of the three options you had there, it would have been easy to just take Memphis.
Yeah, it would have been. So I wanted to be different
I like
a little bit.
I like the Indiana one, and I would stay as far away from ATL as possible, bro.
Sam, what's the reason you never got into NBA to begin with, out to now? Like, why not dip your toes into the water?
Well,
what was young Ginger Sam doing and not paying attention when football season wasn't going on?
I was too busy thinking about girls and not getting them. But no. Well, part of it is, as you probably know, Tennessee's football, right? They are football. The Peyton Manning played here. People pack their local high school gyms or stadiums and stuff on Friday Night Lights. I mean, this is what they do. And so football was always kind of the mainstay, and basketball took a back burner. Then the Grizz came along, and it got some bigger and whatnot. But part of the problem is today's NBA, like I was watching this old footage and it was so much better. Like it just seems so much better back in the day.
Agreed.
And so I think that's part of it. But it's great. It's like I said, it's fun to do new things. So I look forward to following the Pacers to glory this year. So, or just absolute failure.
It's a good young team. It's a good young team, bro. I like that pick.
Thank you.
Well, Indiana Pacers, you've got yourself a winner here in our Mr. First Down. And
here comes the Boas, baby.
You're gonna have a passionate fan there, Indiana Pacers.
Watching Alice in the Palace doc. Hey, was that some sort of crowd noise that was trying to come through?
Yeah, and they're cheering for you because
they're cheering for you, bro.
It's either that or a horde of zombies outside. I can't tell. But yeah, but no, like seriously though, guys, it was cool, and I'm sure you guys kind of enjoy it. Some people have watched me. Like I went to work today, and people were like, "Who you picking today, man? Like, who you picking?" Because everybody's got a team that never talked to me about it. And boy, but watching those Reggie Miller clips, I don't know, man. It just didn't.
He was a bad boy, man. I don't think he gets as much love as he should, man. Reggie Miller was, was a dog, Nick.
But this is back in the time when you had like great villains and you had great heroes in basketball.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And they had some dogs on their team too. I mean, the Davis brothers dealt with
Mark Jackson played there for a while.
Mark Jackson, Rick Smits is who I'm thinking of.
Rick Smits.
Yeah. They had some teams, and now you get to
they got a nice little squad. You got Miles Turner still. I mean, Miles Turner and TJ McConnell, the oldest players there. Everybody else is either been in the league a year or two. So you got a good young team right there. So that's not a bad team to start rooting for now, Sam, to come in late now.
Yeah, I feel like
you can say you were on the bandwagon to you were
right before they get good. You can say I picked them before they right before.
30 years from now,
I was gonna say it may take 5 years, but hey, enjoy it.
Yeah, if not, we'll just do this again next year. I'll pick another.
Oh man, guys, I know we're wrapping up on some people's here, so let's wrap this thing up here. We're gonna be live Sunday morning, 8 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Eastern. Catch us here. We'll be talking probably some more a little bit of recap, but mainly some other topics going into play. Just check us out. Make sure you guys follow, like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.
Let's get the final shots.
Absolutely.
Final thoughts in here first. Go ahead.
Oh, you got final thoughts?
Yeah,
if you got it, go for
final thoughts. Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Go ahead, Johnny.
No, I was just gonna say this was a lot of fun doing a draft. Looking forward to the next opportunity for us to have something like this, either another draft or another big event like this. It was a lot of fun, good time. I will say I'm gonna have Sunday's top 5 is gonna be NBA related, but that's all I'm gonna give you right now. But we're gonna have a lot of fun on Sunday. Looking forward to that already. I'm loving these LTS shows. Nick, it don't get no better than you with a jacket.
Hold on.
Bro. That's how you represent.
hey, Tanner, remember when you were worried? Man. Remember when you were worried about me standing up? Look at that! Look at it!
I wasn't worried about you, Sam, at all. I know what you're worried about.
But no, way to represent, Nick. This was a blast. I am gonna have to be one of those that has to step off once we do this outro here. I got to get up. I am an hour ahead of you guys, and I need to get to sleep so I can. Yeah, and I'm almost as old as Scott, so I do have to go to bed soon so I can get up for work tomorrow. But this was a blast, and I can't wait till Sunday. Definitely check us out Sunday. Saturday, I will be doing the Let's Talk About It at 5 p.m. with Dan Harris. Shout out to super producer and the man behind Let's Talk Sports, Dan Harris. And again, like Tanner said, if you're new, hit the subscribe, give us a big fat thumbs up for this show, and definitely click on the notifications so you know whenever anybody's going live. Shout out to all the guys that came on the show with us too. It was a lot of fun, guys.
Loved it.
Scott, what's your final thoughts here? Who we betting on tomorrow?
True that.
So first of all, sorry I won't be part of the Let's Talk Sports show after dark. So the midnight match.
Hey, Scott, you don't want part of this, baby. You don't want part of. We're taking the shirts and ties off after dark.
I think we should all leave.
The 70s track from the Buffoon and Bodkins show will be coming on after this is over. So,
my mom just logged on.
Two bets for tomorrow I'm really high on. It's going to be mostly baseball from here until July because football will be starting then.
So we got
Tampa Bay Rays on the run line, which is -1.5. And the Marlins on the money line tomorrow. Those are the two picks that I've put in already.
You said Marlins money line and Rays money line.
Tampa Bay Rays run line.
Oh, run line.
Kansas City. If you bet them on money line, they're minus like 375. there's no way you get any money out of that. So you got to go
on parlay the two, I guess. You
can parlay the two, obviously.
Don't talk to Mike about that. So.
Yeah.
All right. So wait. That was Tampa Bay run line and Miami
money line. Yep.
Yeah. I need some money, so I need to start doing what Scott says. Scott, the money, people. Pay attention to what Scott's telling you.
Right.
I
can't wait for the Major League Soccer draft to come so we can cover that in full detail as well.
Nice.
Yes. But this was phenomenal. Doing a draft night. It's too bad the teams couldn't cooperate and make these faster picks. But
it's crazy how long it takes, bro.
No trades. Like no trade.
I said a couple before. Major. There was a couple movement of picks, but nothing major. They got it all done before the draft, apparently.
Right. And the other thing I'll tell you is keep in mind, like you'll see Memphis picking 25th. They can't finalize the deal until after the draft with the Celtics.
Right.
So keep in mind if you see, Memphis got this guy. No, the Celtics got that guy. So keep that in mind. But thank you to everybody that came on tonight, and thank you to everybody for watching. And
you're welcome, Scott. You're welcome.
Sam, final thoughts. And your NBA draft.
Final thoughts. This draft was absolutely crazy. It's interesting because I'm looking up college players, and they're drafting people from France and everything. So that's like, okay, that's amazing to me. What a fun thing to do. My tender-heartedness, as Nick liked to put on Twitter. Don't let anybody take your joy, okay? If it's something you like, who cares what their opinion is? Get your joy, love it, live it out, have a good time.
Tanner, final thoughts?
Well said, bro.
Guys, hang out afterwards. I'm going to be hanging around for the rest of this first-round draft. So
I'm going to be hanging around.
I'm not drinking. It's just sparkling water.
Sure.
So, but yeah, we'll be. This is actually really cool. I've been always wanted to do something for a draft like this. Updating the graphics and stuff like that. So it's been awesome. Excited you guys were willing to do it with me. So that was cool.
Hey, good job, Tanner. Good job on the layout.
True that. Shout out to you, Tanner, man. It looks great, bro. Great job, bro.
One last comment before Nick goes. Nick Bodkins' interview series will be interviewing every NBA draft prospect that's been picked tonight. So watch for that on Let's Talk Sports. That's coming.
Yeah, hit the notifications, people.
By the way, before Nick goes here, I had one last final thought there in my deal. Nick wanted to do final thoughts, and I'm a little worried of what's going to be coming up next. So, all I know is Nick like, oh no, we're doing it. Okay, here we go. So
no. We do it at the end of every show. We do it at the end of every show. So he's
gonna do the Chris Farley strip tease.
There we go.
So now, first shout out again to Tanner putting all this all the cool graphics and everything.
Great,
this was special. Special shout out to my wife actually for picking out this cool jacket. So she picked this all out. We might have a little fun with it later tonight, once Daddy gets upstairs. So
your papers are ready.
So shout out to her. She puts up with all my shenanigans as always.
She's in chat.
I love it. She says she puts up with all my shenanigans and says you look like an idiot, but lets me do me. So but yeah, so boys, hey, that was the show. Well, everybody, we'll catch you guys later. Tanner, hit that outro. Be a friend, tell a friend, folks. We'll see you later.
Go Patriots, baby. Go.
Life better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5, no mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way. What I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains. Go free me. People like sheep move feet. Hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep on they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight. Believe me. When they try to change, you can say no, free me.
hell is
Good
Brooklyn
stuff,
doing?
boys.
Has Brooklyn made a pick yet?
No, they have not. Oh, they just did. Noah Clowney. Noah Clowney. Finally.
Don't make me wake up at 4
Yeah,
a.m. and go to my
back-to-back picks,
job and
too.
see you in here like just clonked out, you know.
Pick
Bodkins
number
walks in with nothing
57.
but a towel on, like, oh hey.
Hey, fellas, I will holler at you guys later. You guys have a
Johnny,
great night. I'll be in
Nice
the
meeting.
comment section in the sections harassing y'all, yo. You guys have a good night. Appreciate it.
You
You
too,
too,
man.
bud.
You
All
join.
right.
Oh shit.
I don't get it. Why does the draft take this long?
I don't know. That
How's
was the
Patton-
only thing. Does it do this? Is this how it always is? Like,
No,
honestly?
Yes.
it never is. It
I
really
don't
is.
feel
They're
like
usually in the
this.
second round by now, someplace. Or
I don't
just
know.
in
The
general.
NFL draft, I feel like, is just as long, though.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it is. I guess. All right, never mind.
You can feel that way.
I wonder
Yeah.
if it's the indecision of some of these teams on who to pick, that they just don't like anybody.
Could be. Could be.
Well, who knows what Brooklyn's doing? They're like, well, we got to give away all our all-stars in the last 2 years. So what do we do now?
So I did. I was doing some NBA research, and somebody kept finding this meme of Jason Kidd's collar getting bigger and bigger. It was really there's some weird stuff on the internet. I was like, what's going on? I did. People are enjoying my naivety. I'm like, oh, what's Malice in the Palace? But that was a great game. Oh God. Oh, this is awful.
So Sam, when is the first Indiana Pacers game you're gonna go see? If you looked at the, I'm sure it's not out. Schedule's not out yet, obviously.
Yeah, no, it's not out yet. But my brother-in-law has his 2 seats, and the one his wife doesn't go to is the one I will make the trip for. So that's my plan.
What'd you say, Sam? When you going?
When my brother-in-law's wife doesn't want to go.
Oh, they have season tickets?
Yeah, yes, he lives in.
Oh shit, nice.
There we go. Now we know why the Pacers were picked.
Yeah.
Brother-in-law.
Yeah.
I don't mind that reason at all.
I got buddies with the Grizz too, and I got my uncle with the Falcons. I could have gone any.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, you could have went to any game. Really, you could have picked any team and still went to the game in Indiana. You know.
I mean, no, you're right. I'm just kind of looking it over. That's all. And there was a lot of cool things. I really like looking into the Jazz. You know, I thought that was kind of neat. They're called the Jazz. I never really looked up why they're.
Well, that's because they're from New Orleans originally and moved to.
Oh,
Utah.
are they? They just never changed their name.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's weird.
Just like the Clippers are originally from like San Diego, the Lakers are originally from Minneapolis. That's why they're called the Lakers. There's no lakes in Los Angeles.
Kansas City Kings.
That's just so odd to me. Like, change the name, guys. Come on.
So Kansas City Kings was actually before Minnesota, before the Lakers. So.
Okay.
And they split time actually between playing Minnesota, I believe in Minnesota and Kansas City at one moment. So it's weird.
I love that Mrs. Bodkins. Like, you better not. You better not. I was laughing.
Just FYD, guys, we are still alive. Just so you know, it's happening.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
Yeah, listen, I agree with what Bottom Line Sports just wrote. The NBA draft never takes this. It never ever
doesn't. I remember this. I remember the first round being done in 2 hours.
But Nick said it takes as long as the NFL one.
The NFL
take a while too.
Yeah.
I guess it does. Maybe I'm just too drunk to realize it.
Well, don't forget the NFL is 15 minutes in the first round, and then they drop it down. The NBA is 10 minutes in the first round.
It always drives me crazy because
when we were in the draft, I was getting like 2 picks ahead on Twitter than I was
live, like there.
Live at the draft. Yeah.
I remember. It's just really weird why. The Lakers seem like they're on the clock for like 45 minutes before they made their pick.
I felt like that about some teams. I was like, Jesus, we're not even going to get out of the first 10 picks and we're in the first hour.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. The Nets are on the clock here. So, they're just trying to get more young kids too.
They're back-to-back picks. So they had back-to-back.
Yeah. So. And then you got the Blazers and then the Kings.
So Portland was trying to trade the 3rd pick and a player to Brooklyn for Mikal Bridges in Brooklyn.
Really?
Yeah,
well,
that's the story I saw earlier.
Portland was trying to trade, or the Pelicans were trying to trade
Zion.
You want to tell the guys hi?
No.
Oh, okay.
The look on your face was so defeated. Do you want to tell the guys hi? No. Oh, okay.
It's just too good. I mean, she brought me another drink.
On OKC's moves and trade with Dallas. Scale of 1 to 10.
What's 10? 10 being the best, or 1 being Allen?
I'd give him. I'd give him
Did
what?
you say 10 being Allen?
I said 10 being the best, 1 being Allen.
Gosh.
I'd say about
I
a
love
6
you,
or
Alan.
7.
I don't know why we're all mean to you, but it just comes right out.
So the Mavs got Derek Lively, and Thunder got Casey Wallace and Davis Bertans.
And Dallas traded a player too.
Bertans. That's who Thunder got. So, yeah. So I'd say I'd give it a 7.
Yeah,
I think you got a better pick with Kaysen, fit your mold a little better. Bertans is just depth, so.
There's just no, like, the thing of it is like I said, it's just all smoke screens. Like, going into the draft, it was like New Orleans could trade Zion. You know, Zion could be going out to Portland for the number 3 pick. And, you know, this pick could happen here. You know, what's this? You know, it's just like, it's just like the NFL draft. It's just all smoke screens. The thing of it is like the NBA is a lot different because a lot of these kids, like some of them I never even heard of because they don't really play in college a whole lot. And then 2, it's just like they're not really going to be really relative and ready until like 2-3 years from now, because you're going to forget about them. You know, where the NFL, they're coming in really, a lot of them, especially the first round, they're playing week 1. You know, they're playing key roles week 1. Like, you know, like, hey, they drafted this guy, he's going to fill in and be ready to play.
Yeah, that's I mean, Scoot Henderson was getting. Everybody was like, "Oh, Charlotte's going to take him." The Charlotte's taking him. Charlotte was never his real name. I felt like Charlotte was never taking him because of LaMelo Ball. So to me, I agree with you, Nick. It's total smoke screen. It's total because they want to overvalue the guy. So if they want to trade out of that spot, teams will come up and say, "We'll give you 2 first-round picks and this player for them." I mean, it just
Derek Whitehead. Solid.
To win.
It's kind of a reach, I think, at this point. Yeah, to Brooklyn.
All right. Everybody have a good night. I will see y'all Sunday.
All right, Sam. See ya. Welcome to NBA Fanhood. We probably won't talk NBA until Christmas now. So there's that.
Well, there's going to be free agency. There'll be something coming up.
Yeah, a little bit of free agency. So other than that, we probably won't talk a whole lot of NBA until Christmas.
We're essentially a month away from full-out football. So
Hey, speaking of that, I meant to say this earlier. We're gonna have to. Jonathan Grisham's going to be even more unbearable on Monday. LSU is now in the College World Series final.
Did they get there?
Yep.
Oh boy.
So we got that to talk with Jonathan. We'll have Wimbledon to talk with Jim, because that's the week of the 4th that we're off. So
that man took the wind right out of my sails with his Bieber trade talk. It hurts so bad. It hurts so bad. Oh, they're like, Sam, you need to ask a Guardians question. I'm like, because he hurts me with his words.
Well, Tuesday, Alan was like, I hope Sam's not going to be mad at us. We're not talking, because I said to him, we're not talking the AL Central. There's no team in there that's even worth talking about right now. He's like, I hope Sam won't be mad. I'm like, what? We're not talking about him.
It'll be okay. His heart was already broken, so.
Yeah, I'm already dead inside, you know. Lord knows now the Pacers will have the worst year ever, and I'll be like, okay, sorry, guys.
That would be such bad luck.
Yeah, I'm a cooler. You know, they sit me next to the people playing cards that are getting hot. And just stand
Sam,
there.
you gotta give it 2 years before you jump off the bandwagon.
Okay,
that's what
I gotta put in my 2 years. You know,
2-year commitment.
2-year commitment. After that, you can be a free agent again if you don't want Indiana.
I'm taking my talents to Memphis, baby.
I feel like if you go to the game, like you know what I mean. Like if you're going to go to the game, like you're all in at that point in time.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. This is going to be interesting.
I'm excited for you, Sam. I really am.
Good.
Yeah, I'm excited for you.
I'm with
It's It's gonna be fun. I mean, like, boy, if you pick the Kraken in hockey, that's quite a flight, young man.
Yeah, I don't really know if I'm picking the Kraken in hockey. We'll talk to Jim about it on Monday.
Right. I mean, I know,
I kind of like your idea, a place you can go catch a game. But I mean, people can come to the Blues all the time. So I don't live like an hour and a half out of St. Louis. So you can always catch a game.
I'm just waiting to see what happens with Phoenix. So,
how about the Winnipeg Jets? You ever give them a thought?
No, I'm not doing a Canada team. I feel like I don't know.
He didn't even
go into
waste
Canada.
Any time. He just goes,
be in jail.
What
do you say? Cuss me out.
What do you think about the Winnipeg Jets?
Marijuana's legal in Canada, so I think I'd fit right in. So I'd be all right.
Well, I think Canada would be big.
Well, they like to be nice. Huge. So
Canadians are also polite, Nick.
Yeah, I probably don't fit in there. They probably think I'm a straight asshole. So,
oh, hey, how you doing there? What the fuck do you want? Just
hate that.
Ruin it.
Bodkins could do a show from Canada. Have a Winnipeg Jet on and
live.
Are they even a team? The Winnipeg Jets? I thought they
they're a team. Yeah, they're a team.
Oh, shit.
Well, you'll be fine. Bottom line, okay. Thank you for your 2
cents.
Thank you for your 2 cents.
Maybe he didn't want. Maybe he didn't want to go because the Grizzlies makes too much sense. So I like the Indiana pick.
Way too much sense.
Thank you.
That makes way too much sense.
Once again, like the lesson said, boys, don't let them take your joy.
Yeah, Iowa boy.
Because if you chose Memphis, Memphis is really good right now. They're like on the cusp. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so then
that's actually one of the reasons why.
You're a Johnny come lately, but then you're jumping on the bandwagon. But if you pick Indiana right now, they're not very good. So, like, why not pick a shittier team? And then you can be like, hey, I've been with this team when we were shitty once they're good, which could be a while. Might be past that 2-year mark where you can reassess, but.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see how good my decision is in 2 years. We'll come back in 2 years. We'll have a discussion.
Hopefully, we're on a network at that point in time, pumping this show out. And then
that'd be kind of funny.
Be hilarious.
Go back and check the tapes from 2 years ago, baby.
Can I be brought in like in a Indiana Pacers coffin?
Chris Murray.
Oh,
yeah.
One step. His brother, huh?
Murray.
I like Chris Murray. He's not as good as his brother, but he's a good 3-and-D guy.
His brother is the one that's playing
Keegan.
for okay.
Keegan Murray.
Yeah. Is that one for the Nuggets, right?
No, Keegan plays for the Kings.
Okay.
Yeah,
there is a Murray on the Nuggets, right?
Jamal Murray.
Yeah, Jamal Murray, who's an absolute stud. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he tore his ACLs out too, and still came back and looked great.
All right, guys, I got to jump off.
All right, Scott. Hey, tell Keith, good night for us.
I will. The nurses are yelling at me now, so I got to.
Take your meds. We found them under the pillow.
Oh, man.
How did you ever become a Guardians fan?
Okay, so this is actually a fun story. I'm going to hang out now. All right. Who cares? I have to work at 4. Anyway, so.
Well, it's 9:40. You're a Central Time Zone guy, right?
Yeah, Central.
Ah, shit. Yeah, you're good.
I'm just going to text you the message in the morning. You're going to like, good morning. And I'll just be like, just the meme of the girl holding on to the carousel as she's just getting dragged around in a circle. So my dad one year was like, hey, I think I was young, 10 maybe.
Just before he went out and got a pack of cigarettes and never came back, obviously?
No, he's still here. He's a good person. I mean, he's a lawyer, but a good person. Anyway, So he's evil, but, a good person. But he just knows that she leaves with half if he leaves. He said, hey, guys, we're all going to pick a team, and we're all going to follow baseball one year. We're going to do it. So he
just like we did with you in NBA.
Yes, exactly. It's
Okay.
one reason it kind of reminiscent of that. So he taught us how like ERAs and stuff like that and what stats are important. Guys, there's a lot of stats in baseball. So my 10-year-old mind was like, whoa.
There is, baseball has the most stats in all sports, I feel like.
My mom chose the Cardinals. Dad chose the Braves. My sister chose the Cubs. And I really love the movie Major League. So I chose the Indians.
Okay.
And, followed them ever since. Have had a good time, So
yeah, well, our bad time.
Yeah, stuck with it. I almost went Orioles though.
So this was just like a family meeting, just at dinner table, and Dad was like, "You know what? We ain't got shit to do in the summertime. You know what we should do? Follow baseball." And the rest of the family was like, "All right, hey, we'll reconvene at this meeting. Everybody pick a team. We'll have at the next dinner table next week at the family dinner. Everybody tell everybody's team, and we're gonna be a baseball family now."
Well, I think it's more like Dad always kind of watched baseball with like his dad and everything like that. And I think he wanted to recapture some of that. And of course, like my sister and I picked at the time the worst teams, the worst two teams you could pick. And he's like, "Well, y'all have fun with that," And Rachel saw the Cubs and just liked the colors and there's a bear on it, kind of thing. So,
well, over here I got the logo.
Yeah, oh, look at you!
Yeah,
look at you.
That's
So
awesome.
Yeah, so we've just kind of done it ever since. I thought about switching up maybe, but I don't know. There's just kind of motif with that baseball team in Cleveland. I can't explain it.
Well, it's funny because like you see that meme. It's like boys pick a baseball or football team when they're 10 and then just ride it out. Like, and you're just like, you really look at yourself. You're like, at least I do. I'm like, holy shit, that's probably the most truest fucking thing in the world I've ever seen.
It probably is.
I picked, like these three teams when I was 10 years old and have never come off of them, even though I've probably had good reasons to like root for different teams. I'm just like, that's definitely true. I picked these teams when I was 10 and I'm still with them. Like, that's just kind of how it's been.
I tell you what, I came close in the 2012 and 13 season. I was that close.
So leaving the Titans.
Yeah, well, okay. So Bud Adams dies, the owner.
Yeah,
and we don't have to talk about this because we're in basketball mode. Do you guys care?
No, we're just bullshit.
Okay, all right. So Bud Adams dies.
Because you got 20 minutes until the Kings pick, so it doesn't.
Oh yeah, Bud Adams dies. His son-in-law Tommy Smith takes over. Tommy Smith hires Ken Wisenhunt. They're going through it, and Ken Wisenhunt is horrible, and he's worst coach we've ever had, which is saying something even back in the Oilers days. And there was talk that Tommy Smith was trying to cut cash so he could sell the team.
Oh, yeah.
So, and people, it came out as a conspiracy theory or whatnot, but I think it's true. I think it's totally true. I think he was trying to make us suck so bad that he would just sell the team off and send him to San Antonio, because I think that's who was looking for one. So all of a sudden, Amy Adams Strunk, Bud's daughter, is like, "Hey, you're out. I'm in. I'm majority shareholder. I'm running this thing," and it's been better ever since, astronomically better.
Was Wisenhunt before or after the Matthews kid got
Munchak?
Munchak, yeah, Mike Munchak, yeah.
He was right after Munchak, and God bless Munch. He's been like a Nashville mainstay because he was our offensive line coach for so long, and a good one.
Wisenhunt was OC at Pittsburgh, right? Is that where he came from?
Yeah, he was OC at Pittsburgh. I think he wanted, and then he got the Cardinals head coaching job.
Yeah.
And at the time, everybody clapped us on the back and said, "This is a great coaching hit," or whatnot. The guy had the personality of cardboard, and was just kind of an ass to people. And people down here don't really like that kind of attitude,
So, hold on, Sam. The Kings selecting Oliver Maxine Prosper at number 24 and trading him.
Maxine Prosper.
Yeah, and they're trading him to Dallas. Mavericks used the TV to bring in Richon Holmes along with Oliver Maxine Prosper.
Interesting.
So
Bravo.
There's where we're at. And now Memphis is on the clock. Go ahead, Sam. Finish your story. I just wanted to get that.
No, I mean that was just kind of the tidbit. Plus, I said if I ever got a team here, I would totally just throw in. So I went in all the way. I dropped all my Eagles gear. And
you were an Eagles fan.
I was at Reggie White there. I was a big UT fan, and Reggie White was there, and I was like, "This guy's amazing." You know.
Well, how old are you, Sam?
I'm 37. I was.
Okay, we're the same age, right? Like we're all three about the same age. So like when the Titans went there, that was like you couldn't have been much like 9 or 10.
Yeah, 9 or 10. But I loved Reggie White, and so did everybody around me. So everybody was like, let's follow Reggie.
Why not the Colts when Peyton went there?
No, I had a team by then. So
I guess the Titans were there.
So and then it was this weird thing because there would be like people wearing Manning Colts jerseys and Steve McNair Titans jersey. Then they shared that MVP that one year, and we're in the same division. We don't really like each other and whatever else. I actually would say, because I'm a sensible human being, that the Colts usually, not recently, usually run a pretty good ship. Not a lot of waves or anything like that. It just seems like the last 5 years have just gone totally tits up for them.
Yeah. Are you a UT fan then too?
I was born in Knoxville. My dad was in UT Knox Law School.
So you're a big.
I was a mistake.
Hey, amen to that, brother. Same. So how do you feel like Hendon Hooker and how's he going to do? Where did he end up going? Hendon Hooker, Tanner.
Hendon Hooker went to
Detroit.
Right. Yeah. I thought that team was going to go this year until he got hurt. I mean, Hyatt, Hooker. I like that team. I think they got a good coach in
Heupel.
Yeah, former Heisman Trophy winner out of Oklahoma.
I like.
Or no, he didn't win that. He didn't win the Heisman. Chris Winky Dinky did that year. They faced him in the national championship game.
You call him Winky Dinky.
Check out this news, guys. Look at this thing. Oh, dang it. I put the wrong thing.
Wait,
all it says is Marcus
Wait, am I switching my fandom? Is that what this means?
Did I do it right or did I miss? I just saw the Celtics traded up to this 25.
Oh, I didn't see that yet. Oh, yeah, I did see that Boston's drafting Marcus Saucer at number 25 and trading to Detroit for number 31.
That's what it is. I forgot to put Celtics over here.
Boston's drafting Marcus Saucer. Sasser.
I really miss
Houston guy. Dang. Houston has 2 first-round talents in the draft.
I really miss saying "Go Tribe" and stuff. That was such an Indians thing, and it was so cool. I don't know. I'm bummed about the name change. I haven't let it go.
Yeah, unfortunately,
can't do it here in City.
But hurt. I don't mind the Indians like that. To me, like that's
it's historic, right?
Yeah.
They got players from the reservation to play for. It wasn't offensive. They are calling themselves that because the players were good.
The Redskins thing is a little derogatory.
I get it. Well, if you look up Redskin in the dictionary, right? It's slang. It's legit. It's a slang word. So I get changing the name for that. But Indians didn't do anything. I just didn't understand why we had to erase the whole thing. It just bums me out, especially something like, and like it or not, the Indians are historic somewhat.
Yeah. And that's a better name than the Guardians. That was not.
I know.
I hate that name.
So they were originally called the Spiders forever ago. So I was like, are they going to go back to the Spiders?
I would have went back to the Spiders before I would have been called the Guardians.
No, I agree. Now you're named after statues on your stupid bridge over your burning river. Anyway,
Tanner, you lived in Utah
for a year.
Oh shit! I didn't know that until you said that in the group chat.
For a year when I was 10, went to a jazz. I got to go to my one jazz game.
That's why you're so quiet all the time.
Russell, that was the Jordan game, the finals, where it was Utah and Chicago.
Yeah, you went to Game 6 of the NBA.
I didn't go to Game 6.
Oh shit! I was about to freak the fuck out.
I was about to be like, wow.
I wish I went, but I wouldn't have known anything. I didn't pay that close attention. We always did a jazz chant every morning in school. Is what we would do, and we would go from there. Like I don't know what the hell's going on.
What's the jazz
I'm a Kansas
chant?
City fan. Baseball.
Yeah, what is the jazz chant?
I want to hear the jazz chant.
Oh, they would play
got the good vibration.
No, they would play the song of "I'm a Believer" throughout literally the whole.
By the Monkees?
Every morning.
By the Monkees, yeah.
No.
And I'm a believer. That's
I could believe if I tried. Yeah.
You know, Smash Mouth redid it for Shrek.
Smash Mouth. It was Smash Mouth's version. Yeah, I was trying to remember the band. Smash Mouth.
It wasn't even out then.
Yeah, it was Shrek out
sure?
there because that's when it was
yes.
on Shrek.
When we were, how old are you? It doesn't matter. You were 95, 96. Shrek didn't come out until the 2000s.
Yeah, it's 2000s. It's got to. It's got to be.
Maybe you're right. It is.
It's got to be the Monkees.
And
the Monkees.
So I was born in '89, so it'll be closer to '99.
Okay, so you're 3 years older than me.
Yeah.
Okay.
It might have been Shrek-ish. It might have been 99. I don't know when Shrek came out.
I gotta look.
Shrek came out in the 2000s for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely in the 2000s. No way it's in the 90s. Probably exactly like 2000 or 2001.
You know, Chris Farley was supposed to be Shrek.
No, I did not know that. Really?
Yeah, that's why Shrek's built the way he is.
Huh.
That was 01. So, 01 was a Smash Mouth. So, yeah, it was.
Yeah. It was the Monkees. Yeah. Shrek. Chris Farley was supposed to be Shrek. And then when he died, they went to Mike Myers. But, it was they were going to have Chris Farley be Shrek.
It's one of the saddest stories I've ever read was Chris Farley's biography.
Yeah.
It bothered
me.
Bothered me a great deal. He came from a great family too.
It's funny, the Jazz and then Chris Farley all kind of brings it together. Like those are like, so Michael Jordan was probably my very first athlete I really remember and really like got behind. As like, just somebody like, I was like, man, this guy's, like I really remember watching and playing. Chris Farley's like my first favorite ever, like, actor. So it's just
entertainer.
Funny. Yeah. That I really remember, like, really like watching and be like, oh my God, this dude's the funniest thing in the world. And then like Michael Jordan was like my very first athlete. I remember like my dad was trying to push me towards the Cubs and Ryan Sandberg, but I don't really remember watching Rhino play a whole lot. But I still to this day remember watching Game 6 of the NBA Finals of that final shot in '98, which I mean, I guess I was born in '87 and that was '98, so I was 11 or so. But like I remember even like the years before, like the flu game, like the Bulls and the Jordan era was like my first like real teams, and then Brett Favre and the Packers was like kind of my first early years of like childhood, like really watching them play. But yeah, Michael Jordan was like my very first athlete I really remember like getting behind and watching.
I think the first one I remember getting behind, besides Reggie White, I remember sitting in Dad's lap in the early '90s, and we were watching the Braves, and David Justice went up to bat.
Oh yeah.
And I remember David Justice because won the last name, but Dad's like, "Come on," he's like, "Come on, Dave, just knock it out of the park." We were playing the Yankees too, so they wanted blood.
Oh yeah,
and stuff like that. And I remember that. As far as like entertainer and stuff, though, I really liked. I kind of liked. What's his name? Shoot, let me think on it. I'll get back to you. I can't remember his name. Funny guy, Jim Carrey.
Oh yeah,
Jim was my favorite. Yeah,
because like all stupid kids back then, you were watching like Ace Ventura and you're making your butt talk and stuff like that. The Mask came out then.
I remember the Mask. Yeah.
That's what I was. That's what I remember.
Early stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, the earlier very funny stuff, and then Ace Year 2 came out, blew it all out of the water.
Tanner, I mean, like when you said, I want to break that, like when you were like, hey, let's dress up nice. I mean, as soon as you said that, the wheels in my head started.
I'm so proud of you, Nick, because I really thought you were submitting, and I was like, are you serious right now?
As soon as he put that in the chat, I was like, oh, my first thought was, okay, I'm going to, like, Tanner's totally going to regret saying this, first of all. Second, how can I top the shirt wearing, Kansas City Chiefs tearing shirt? And like, what can I do to like, put my own stuff out? It's like, so what can I do? Because I'm not dressing nice for a podcast, first of all, until there's a big fat paycheck and that involves, and then maybe even then probably not. Yeah. So then like that's where I was like just spitting ideas. I was telling the guys before the show, I said I was looking for I was going to wear a tuxedo shirt, couldn't get here on Amazon. Then told my wife, I said, get me a tie. I was just either going to wear a tie by itself, and then she was at Goodwill. I was like, buy me a shirt coat. I don't even know a suit coat. I said, I don't care what size it is, whatever it is, just buy me a suit coat at the Goodwill. I said, I'm going to cut the sleeves off. I'll wear it. Yeah, I got home, and that's exactly what my wife said. She's like, your suit coat that some guy died in is sitting on the bed.
There's bullet holes in the back of it. You're like,
I was like, cut the blood stains out of it and cut the sleeves off. Tribute to your guy Vaughn from Major League. They go. Yeah.
Come on,
I was like, I'm gonna do
heater,
that.
Jimmy.
That's good.
Yeah.
But you put on the jacket and you're like, beat it, Dave. These streets ain't made for you.
Yeah. I had these little booty things from a long time. I've always had them for a long time. If I walk out of the bedroom and my 6-year-old son goes, "What the heck?" and he starts busting out laughing. I was like, see, the 6-year-old gets my humor. That's all that matters.
I've got him on my side. Who else do I need? Like, really? I make sure the girls love me more than they love their mother. That's how it works. Okay. If she picked them up by their hands and flung them around like I do, they would love you too.
Hey, Sam, you can get yourself a Ben Shepherd jersey because that's who the Pacers just took at 26.
Cool.
Ben Shepherd.
I'll take a look at Mr.
Belmont guy.
Shepherd. Belmont, huh?
Belmont.
Yeah, it's a good one too.
Belmont's a big deal down here.
He's a guard. He can shoot threes. That's what they're known for.
Charlotte selecting Nick Smith Jr. at number 27. We got 3 picks left, baby. We're gonna finish out this
almost
first
there.
round.
We did it, guys.
We did it. We lost a few good men out there, but we did it.
Scott was on his way out anyway.
That was way past Scott's bedtime.
Yeah, it was time to go. He held the line for as long as he could. Yeah, but I'm really proud of you, Nick, because I was sitting there in the chat going, "What is he really letting this go by?" Like I'm like, "Hold the line." Nobody did anything. I was like, "Fine."
Oh yeah, no. I as soon as he said that, I was like, "That's why I was like, okay, bet."
I read that and was literally like, "Who?" Like
I'm a little disappointed you didn't bring any boas out.
I have them back there, but I didn't bring them out because I really thought we were doing like a decent job. Then you show up in that, and I'm just sitting here sulking. I should have worn my boas. Honey, braid my boas real quick. Braid them. I gotta get some more boas. I gotta get some more. I have a good time.
Now you get a Pacers boa.
That's right. You get the gold, navy, and white. Yeah, gold, navy, and white boas. I'm looking at them on Amazon on my phone.
You have one you just rotate. Just
you get a Pacers jersey that says Mr. First Down on the back of it, just for people to be like, "Well, I don't understand what's happening."
Yeah, there you go, Mr. First Down Pacers jersey. That'll confuse some people.
I'm a basketball fan, but I love football too.
I love both. They're going to get some Pacers are going to get some first downs today. That's what you go.
Just go in there, just talk like, where's the puck at? Do you see the puck? Like, just talk nonsense. Social terrorism at its finest, ladies and gentlemen.
I wonder what the Pacers are going to do next. They got 29 still.
Ooh. Charlotte select. Oh, we got Nick Smith Jr. there. We only got 3 picks left.
By the way, how is nobody else jumping all over the name Grady Dick? I mean, God bless that kid. Whew.
There was a couple good ones out there.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a guy that does work on trees out here, and his commercial comes over the radio all the time. And it's like, "Hi, I'm Dean Glasscock," and I was like, "You have bad trees? Call the Glasscock Company." I was like, "Why?"
Call the cock.
Sir, did nobody tell you? Did nobody tell you? What?
You got bad trees. Bring in the cock.
Yeah, when you trademark, did nobody say, "Hey, bud, so like your last name is unfortunate." I never understood it. I was next door neighbor to a Butts once, Butts.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I was like, "Is your name Seymour?" He's like, "No, it's Daniel." And I'm like, well you're not very interesting, are you? Yeah.
Well, I mean, if his name was Daniel, he could have changed his name to. Isn't Dick and Daniel the same, or is that William? I guess.
Well, no, Richard and Dick are the same.
Richard, yeah. He could have been Dick Butts. Bucks are acquiring number 36 overall pick in a deal with the Magic. Not that we're staying up for that late, but Utah selected. Oh, Utah selected. You already got it. Bryce Sinsborough. So we got 2 picks left, baby. 2 picks left. Number 29 and 30. There's only 30 teams.
Nick, do you still feel the same way? Like I'm still very down on my Titans. Are you still very down on your Packers as well?
Yes and no. I think I'm coming around a little bit more. Teammates are starting to say nice things about Jordan Love. So I feel like that's some vote of confidence and for him and team. And I was listening to something today, and they were just kind of talking like, hey, the Packers' last 5 games are playing really well. We're gonna find out a lot about our coaching staff. Like that's what we're gonna find out how good Matt LaFleur of a coach is. We're gonna have to run the ball a lot. I feel like help Jordan Love, but yeah, we'll see. I don't think we're gonna be like the worst team in the league, but I think we can be. I still think 8 wins. 8 wins. If we get 10, it would be great. But 6 to 8 wins is what I think.
I have us at 7. I have us at 7. I have us at 7 or 10.
I think the Titans are in a good spot because that division's awful.
Yeah, I think C.J. Stroud doesn't come along right away, I really don't believe in Anthony Richardson.
Well, that's the first time me and Flo ever agree, or not top. So I don't know about that, but
he's just trolling. He's just trolling in the comments.
9 wins. I would take 9 wins. I would take 9 wins.
I would take 9 wins. Shoot, but I think 10 is the most. But I think Vrabel out of sheer will get you 7. That's just the way I see it.
He's gonna smoke a lot of cigs and fucking punch some people in the face.
People keep putting that like in his fingers and shit when he's on the sidelines. They'll like Photoshop it. Some guy gave him the Cruella DeVille one, super long. Freaking love that guy.
Oh shit!
Everybody, I shook that man's hand once and it just ate mine. Like it was like, wow, you're kind of a big tall dude.
Big dog.
Yeah, you're kind of large, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll change my mind as we get better. But they're just counting on they are really counting on Treylon Burks and Kyle Phillips to really come into their own. Yeah. I believe Chig Okonkwo, the tight end, is good as advertised. I do believe that, but and Treylon Burks, for all intents and purposes, looks better than I thought he would. But you're still. I mean, that's a gamble.
I was hoping the Packers would take Burks last year. Really,
I think they wanted to. That's why the Titans traded down. That's what I heard. I read that. That's what I read. So maybe not. I don't know. I'm so jaded now. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, well, whatever.
It'll be interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I still don't believe
Denver selected somehow. We're at number 29.
Yeah, we're on number 29.
Julian Strother. at number
You
29.
said Denver moved up?
Yeah, that's I don't know if you got the order wrong or not, but 29 is Julian Strother.
Oh, I'm on the Pacers or the NBA.
Can I bring up Bottom Line's comment? Yeah, I can. Cool. Do I think Will Levis will play this year? If he plays this year, it'll be because we are doing absolutely horrible. Like out of the gate bad is the only time you'll see Will Levis. That's my prediction. So we'll see. Because they're not going to just throw away Tannehill, who, has won you a lot of games. People tend to forget that. And I just – they're not going to just throw away Tannehill. He would have to really suck it up for like 3 or 4 games. And by suck it up, I mean really suck it up, not just like, oh, you were that close and you didn't get it, or a drop pass or something like that.
Is Taylor Lewan done? Is he?
Boy, he looks skinny, doesn't he? He
don't even look like he's like interested.
I'm pretty sure he's done.
I think he's done. I think the botched ACL surgery has done him in. That's what I think. He keeps posting pro Titan stuff on his social media account. So I'm just like, okay, what are we doing, bud? Should I stay or should I go? That's what it kind of feels like.
Yeah, why if I'm him, why continue to play? You're making their podcast Busting with the Boys. Yeah, it's very successful. Signed with Barstool. Him and Will have a lot of great content together. I enjoy their podcast really. What I do.
Me too.
So I think he looks super skinny. Doesn't even look like he's even
like a stick. He looks like a stick.
Yeah.
And I'm like, boy, like training camp's next month, bud. Like, you got to sign on to a team. They're not going to let you skip all the training camp.
Yeah, I don't think he's even – to me, it doesn't look like he's even, like, really thinking about football or trying to play football.
He's just living his life right now, living the gentleman of leisure. He's like, I'm going to Vegas, la, 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 la.
Yeah, I'm like, playing with Dana, gambling with Dana White. And why not? Yeah. Like, he's made enough money. You got a successful podcast. Like, you could just hang it up. I think, like, Will Compton was part of it. I think he's always trying to, like, I think this year's the first year where he was like, I'm done, kind of like no team's going to pick me. But
I felt that,
him and Taylor's situation is different. Will's always been a practice squad guy, a grinded out guy. Ain't quite made the money Taylor has, right? Like Taylor's made the
we paid that man his entirety of his $56 million contract.
Yeah, so he's got the money and was one of the best left tackles in all of football, where Will didn't. But now they're both kind of done, and now they just get to do this podcast and work for Barstool and do fun shit together.
And both are just like a minor thing, but they're both well loved in Nashville. You know what I mean? Like nobody's gonna bother you. They love you here. They have big parties here. People take pictures on social media all the time. Hey, look who I ran into at whatever. I think they're really well set up, and why would you want to leave? You make, like you said, a lot of money on the podcast and get to hang out.
Yeah, now you just do your podcast, and like you said, they're loved. Like I was watching, I think it was on the podcast. They were talking. The guys that they produce are kind of in their like circle or whatever.
Yeah,
they help them with the show. They're like a lot of them are from Nashville or Tennessee fans. So we call it one thing was like before Taylor and after Taylor. Like before Taylor was real shitty, and then we go drafted Taylor Lewan and help turn this thing around a little bit. And he's kind of been part of that success.
Yeah, no, it totally has. And people don't take into it because somebody else deserves credit too, and people forget this. Mike Mularkey really kind of came in and he steadied that ship. It wasn't. Now, I'm not saying he was the greatest coach or anything, but he came in and said, "You're the running back. You're the quarterback. I'm going to line my soldiers up. Let's go." Like that. That's how it worked, and it worked for a time. I mean, you were going to be 9-7 for the rest of your life, but he steadied that ship. So when he got fired and moved on, everybody was like, good riddance, blah, blah, blah. And I was sitting there like, well, let's, just keep in mind that this guy did right the ship somewhat. And now Vrabel gets to inherit that steady Betty. So, but what do I know? I'm just
final pick here. And we're
we're happening. We're doing it.
we do this next year, 3 hours. Shit, god damn, we're gonna have to find some more guests here.
Yeah. Well, shit, yeah.
No, let's talk about our childhood dreams. Let's do it. Come on, guys.
My dream is this, man. That's always been my dream.
Oh, hey, I hear you.
When people
my prediction here is they go Trace Jackson Davis.
Oh, there you go.
Indiana.
I'd have no idea. After the first 4 picks, I was like, fuck it. I don't know anybody. Chris Murray, that's it. That's all I know from Iowa.
Iowa guy.
Drew Timmy.
Grady Dick. Sounds like a
Grady Dick.
What a great outfit, dude.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't see it. I didn't see his outfit. Just from what you guys
know. The rainbow. It's beautiful. Very shiny.
Final pick. How did the Clippers got the last pick? They must have had some trade or something.
Yeah.
They've done something shady, All
right, let's see here.
So why are they called the Clippers?
They were in San Diego at one point, and I guess the barbershops in San Diego.
Okay.
I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I think that's why, though.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, look at it. Very skinny Logan Paul there. Yeah.
I don't see anything. Oh, my computer's loading. Hey, what the fuck is he with? What kind of
It's the Dorothy theme. It's a Dorothy theme.
Oh,
yeah, no place like home.
It is a guy from Kansas.
Oh, I got you. Hey, I saw this thing, Tanner, and I disagreed with it. It was had all the list of the 50 states and all their colleges, and it was like Big Brother, Little Brother. This thing had Kansas State as the big brother over Kansas, where I definitely disagree with that.
Because they went off of football. That's the only reason why.
I guess
we're not known for the football, so football over basketball. So they're going to put football over basketball.
I really liked wasn't Greg Marshall the coach there?
At Wichita State,
and then he hurt somebody or something like that, or
yep.
Oh yeah, what was that? Yeah. Clippers are selecting Cobe Brown at number 30. There it is. Final.
Cobe Brown.
Yep.
Now that's the Missouri kid.
UT was looking at Greg Marshall at one time, and then as soon as that incident happened, I was like, well, there that goes.
I don't know what happened to Greg Marshall.
Was he guilty? I heard he jerked a kid around in a huddle or something.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
Nowadays, you can't view anything, so
Boy, God, when I played football in high school, I got jerked around all the time.
Before we get out of here, did you guys hear about? I think it was Stephen A. Austin bowling team.
Huh?
I heard something about that. What was it?
Right. So they have a female coach. Her husband. She hires her husband, who was the assistant, gets the assistant job. And before she hired him, he was always helping out with practices and shit. Then they officially hire him to be the assistant bowling coach. Come to find out, he's banging out one of the college people on the team, one of the girls on the team.
No.
And so then he gets fired, and now they're getting a divorce, and he's like, I was a stay-at-home dad all of them years, and then I would always go and help out, and she'd always still yell at me or whatever. But then he's like, I ended up. He's like, did I know it was wrong? Yeah. He's like, did I break the law? Absolutely not. I didn't break the law. It's not a law, that I had sex with a college student or was having an affair with somebody, on the bowling team. The team got better when he was the assistant, staying for long practice. Her ass would go home, and he would stay late for practices, and they got better. He was putting some balls in some holes, all right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man, I didn't hear about that.
Got out of the house and got his first taste of freedom and just lost his damn mind.
All right, everybody. Thanks for sticking around for Let's Talk Sports show after dark and the NBA draft. Make sure you guys tune in Sunday. I'm sure we'll have something else to discuss. So
I'll be on Alan's show on Tuesday for a State of the Franchise, and I'll try not to cry into my pillow too hard.
Check out tomorrow afternoon, 11 o'clock or Central, noon Eastern. I will be on the call-in show. So
hey,
that's right.
Me and Dan Harris going down the court, so it'll be a lot of fun.
Here comes the rain.
I promise I'll put the shirt on.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe.